And jobless claims under the Trump administration hit a nearly 50-year low. Very good, very amazing. We achieved 40 months in a row with more job openings and job hirings. Many good things. When coronavirus came around, even though the China government lied to us about it, we did the China ban the first week. Most testing than any other country. We got a vaccine out when they said it would take 2 to 3 years to do. We did very quickly things, and yeah.
Okay. So, do you want to start with the
Mel, can you
what?
Mel? Yeah, Mel's like really loud. There you go. All right. Yeah, you can go first, South.
Okay. So I want to talk about the First Step Act you mentioned. Did you know that like he underfunded it and he argued against he argued against it in court when he was saying that when they told him that the First Step Act involves lowering the sentences for certain, like criminals, he argued against it, and he only gave $14 million, and when they needed 75 million.
Well, I don't think he needed it in it fund anymore with all the good it did. And you look at
It was
for
pretty.
example,
It
go
left
ahead.
a lot of people still in prison that should have been let out. It let around, I think it was 60,000 people that should have been let out were still in prison, as well as him not. It was a bipartisan plan. He didn't even suggest it. He just had to sign it because both parties agreed it was a good deal, and he still almost screwed it up.
Well, without him, it wouldn't have been done. That's the truth. So.
That's not true. If any president was in, it would have been done. It was a bipartisan plan. Do you know what that means?
If it would have been done, it would have been done with Obama.
Yeah.
It wasn't suggested until Trump became. It was suggested after Obama had left office. It wasn't like it was sitting in Obama's office for years. It was suggested after he had left the office already. It was bipartisan. Everyone already accepted it. Trump had to sign it. It was pretty
If
much
it wasn't for him, it wouldn't have been signed. That's why we had Donald Trump elected. And you were talking about how he didn't carry on Obama's trends or anything. The reason why Donald Trump got elected was because of Obama. He left the majority of people silent, which is why Trump got elected in the first place, is because Obama had a failure administration. He didn't listen to one half of the country, and that's why he lost. That's why Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton.
I put pictures in the sources thing that show that Trump didn't meet Obama's trends. He kind of flatlined. In 18 to 19, his economy kind of flatlined. It just kind of stayed pretty stagnant for a while. It didn't go up or down that much. And then in 2020, of course, it did terrible.
Yeah,
well, of course, Donald Trump is not going to want to follow a failure trend by Obama. That's just
no. His trends did worse than Obama, is what I'm saying. His trends, he didn't have as much success in the economy. I can show you. Look in the sources right now.
He literally Trump lifted nearly 7 million people off of food stamps.
Okay.
How did he do
and
it?
poverty rates for African Americans, Hispanic Americans reached record low and lowest unemployment rates. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. So
lies is what you're saying.
Can you tell me how he reached those unemployment rates?
Yeah, give a plans.
Yeah, like what policy did he enact for those unemployment rates to go down?
Well, the First Step Act actually did lower black unemployment rate to some extent, and he put a lot of money. I'm not done talking, but he put a lot of
one at a time, please.
Yeah,
true. He put a lot of money into low opportunity zones, and he created many jobs for many places that were not doing, quite frankly, successful, which Obama failed to do. I mean, you look at Democrats; they don't care about minority groups. You look at Chicago and Detroit. Under Democratic power for 50 years, what have they done for black people? Nothing. Their schools are failing. People are dropping out of high school. Nobody's in success. And quite frankly, if you don't vote differently, it's just going to stay this way forever. And that's the truth. They make people go feelings over facts, and they deceive minority groups by telling them things that aren't true. And they pick pretty much feelings over policies when Republican policies are better than Democratic policies for minorities.
Okay,
they do a lot of good things. Can I
get into Trump's
3South and Amar, you guys can rebuttal now.
Okay. So can I get into Trump's opportunity zones that you talked about? So his opportunity zones are corrupt. They don't actually help what's called low income communities, and except they help like private investors with generous tax cuts. They don't actually help the communities of color or anything.
Elaborate on that?
Yeah, can I answer?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, so when Trump suggested the tax cuts, 2/3 of those tax cuts actually went to the rich, and according to his plan in I think it's 2021 to 2027, the tax cuts dissolve for the middle class and lower class, and they have to start paying normal taxes or higher taxes to keep up with the lower taxes the rich are now paying.
Yeah, true.
And a majority of those tax cuts went to the rich, so the tax cuts didn't actually help low income people. For a majority, they didn't. They helped the rich just avoid taxes.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about tax cuts. When you're doing tax cuts, I don't know if you know how like the economy works, but like usually low income class, the lowest percent is 10%, and if you do tax cuts, you can't break it to 5%. That's just not possible. So you're lowering taxes for every class usually, and of course, the more money you have, the more taxes will be cut, and then it's the middle class, and then the the
what
low
you're
income.
explaining is trickle down economics, which usually doesn't work, and it's proven to not work. And when Trump did it,
Well, it does. You have to lower the taxes for
Reagan started
successful rates.
a recession by trying to implement trickle down economics. You know that, right?
Excuse me?
Reagan started a recession by trying to implement trickle down economics. They don't work. They've historically not worked. Why would they work now?
Well, they were pretty good under the Trump administration.
no, they weren't. Wells Fargo actually cut
Very
like thousands.
successful economy.
Wells Fargo actually cut like thousands of jobs after the tax cuts, and they just invested in their own stock buybacks. What they were supposed to do with the tax cuts is invest in their workers and pay them more, but they didn't. They did They did like the opposite. I could send this out.
Mel and William, do you guys have anything to rebuttal on what they said?
South, you want to repeat what you said? Because like the last 30 seconds, I couldn't hear a word. I don't know if your mic messed up or what,
Oh,
but I
okay.
couldn't hear.
I said, do you guys want to rebuttal what they said?
No, he's talking to me. That what I said.
Like the last 30 seconds, please.
Okay, so I said that like Wells Fargo, they
Yeah.
they actually like laid off like they laid off like around 26,000 workers after they got a $6.5 billion relief from the tax giveaway in 2018, because it has to add up in order for it to be 6.5 billion. And after that, they invested $40 billion worth of stock buybacks, and they raised interest rates on borrowers, which caused 26,000 workers to get laid off.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's always negatives and there's always goods in every single situation, but
yeah, but we're saying there's an overall negative for the tax cuts.
Why do you say that specifically?
Yeah, because a lot of businesses just did the same thing that Wells Fargo did, and they laid off workers, which lost jobs.
Well, we had more jobs. We had 7 million more.
Yeah, but you can't prove that. You couldn't prove that it was because of Trump. Right?
Than three times what the government said it would be.
After COVID, his jobs.
What?
Trump has a negative job increase because of COVID. He's lost 4 million, about pretty much. He lost 11
Well,
million.
that's because of the coronavirus.
Yes, but he also handled it terribly, which led to an economic crash.
Yeah, but I'm talking about before the coronavirus.
Okay, yeah, but of course, but I'm saying, yeah, he has a negative.
He was talking before coronavirus. It was still negative.
Yeah. I don't see, like, you mentioned the opportunity zones. I already told you how they don't actually help the low income communities. It just helps the rich get more tax cuts.
Then why do you think the poverty rates dropped quite significantly?
Again, Obama's economic trends. That's literally the only thing that could explain it.
It wasn't.
The Recovery Act
Obama
of 2009.
had no good trend at all.
The Recovery Act of 2009 that Obama implemented, Obama and Biden helped recover the economy and pretty much just set the trends for Trump. And Trump's followed those trends pretty terribly.
Yeah, and then he tried taking credit.
He had a better economy than Obama. Much better economy.
Yes, but of course,
and that's why Trump created 1.2 million manufacturing and construction jobs, and he
also
in place policies to bring back. He put in policies to literally bring back supply chains from overseas, and small businesses optimism broke a 35-year record in 2018. So, like, you want to rebuttal that? Go ahead.
Okay, so what about like the trade war with China that lost over 300,000 jobs by putting tariffs on steel and aluminum?
Steel and aluminum. Well, I mean, do you agree with how we've been treated by China for the last decade?
I mean,
It's economy.
can you explain how we've been treated? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, pretty much like you can look, for example, when we send something to their country, they tax us at high rates when
Not really.
where we don't get treated fairly. That's by every foreign country. We give people billions and billions of dollars for little to nothing in return, just terrible things. And we really don't put America first, if I'm being
Okay,
honest. I mean, you can look at us.
Okay.
Well, you're not part of the debate.
I know
Don't.
I'm not. I was just stepping in.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You're good.
You don't have to fact check him or anything.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all
Send
tax
links if you want.
America taxes imports as well.
Give me
That's
a
kind
minute.
of how it works. Every country taxes.
Okay, is Mel here?
Mel?
Yeah,
He's here.
Oh yeah, I was here. Like something was
Bro,
wrong.
if you want to say anything, you can go ahead. I'm trying to.
Trying to like.
Sorry about that.
But I remember like a couple ago, South had mentioned Trump's immigration policy.
You want to talk about Trump's immigration policies?
Huh?
Yo, we can't hear you. You're cutting out.
No, you just cut out.
Yeah, no, you're cutting out a lot.
Well, while he's like fixing himself, but like by the way, with like Obamacare, like Trump literally eliminated the worst part of one part of Obamacare that was hated by Democrats and Republicans, individual mandate. He eliminated it, which probably say what?
What did he replace it with? Nothing.
Exactly, which is what you want, because it literally brought a financial relief to low and middle house incomes that made up nearly 80% of families who paid the penalty for not wanting to purchase health insurance. So I mean,
wait, so you're just gonna ignore the fact that it doesn't cover people with pre-existing conditions, and he lied about saying that he was gonna replace it with something?
I mean, it takes long. Well, first off, he tried to come up with a new health care, but it didn't happen. It would have happened if he got reelected and would have been far better than Obamacare. I mean, Obamacare is a terrible. Obamacare is, well, sometimes takes longer for that, but Obama got 8. But pretty much, the Obamacare is terrible no matter who runs it. But Trump did way better than Obama. But still, horrible thing. But yeah.
Okay, William, we're not debating Trump versus Obama. We're just debating Trump.
Yeah. Either way,
well, yeah, we're talking about the Obamacare. So I was just saying.
Trump has been claiming since 2016 that he has a plan, and it's never even surfaced anything. He hasn't even proposed
what type of plan?
A healthcare plan. He's never proposed one, even though since his election.
He did propose a.
No, he didn't.
Propose a healthcare plan. It didn't pass. Yeah, he did.
William, it's currently not your turn to rebuttal.
Okay.
I'm gonna fact check this. South, you can go while I fact check this.
Okay, so what did he say?
He had proposals.
You said that he had a healthcare plan.
He did. Yes, it didn't pass.
He never explained. Not only did he never explain his healthcare plan, he simply just said that he had one that will cover pre-existing conditions, but he never actually went in depth into it. It wasn't on his website. It wasn't anywhere. He just said that he did, but he never explained it, and he never passed it. Unless you want to tell me his healthcare plan.
I'm trying to find a link for it right now. But if you guys want to move on to what were you about to talk about?
Immigration.
Yeah.
Immigration. Yeah.
Okay.
You want to go ahead on that? You can, or you want to stay in this topic? That's fine by me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have a rebuttal to it to what I said or no?
I was just gonna go.
Yeah, I would rather find the link before I did that though. So because I want to make sure I'm not lying. You know.
We'll come back to this.
Yeah.
Starting the immigration. I'll join in.
Okay.
Go ahead. If you want to start on what you think about the immigration, go ahead.
Okay, Mel. While William finds that, you want to talk about it, Mel.
Mel.
No.
Mel, are you here?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. You're good.
We hear you.
So do you think like the wall is a good idea, or like more border security?
Yeah, I mean, like,
That's an easy one.
and the reason why I think that it's a better thing is because that way, like MS-13, like they can't send drugs into here, and also terrorists cannot come in here. Also, let's not forget that illegal immigrants can
True.
come into this country, and so you can argue that it's separating people from their families, but that's their fault because they shouldn't have came into the country illegally.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you come into the country illegally, you're going to get kicked out.
Okay. So can I ask you a few questions on that? So can I ask you what's morally wrong about coming in here illegally? Other than it's
Breaking the
illegal.
law.
No, other than it's illegal because abortion is legal. You guys don't agree with that, right? So
About what?
The abortion is still legal. So you guys don't agree with that, right?
Yeah.
So what about
Unfortunately,
it?
it's
So what
legal.
about it being illegal is bad?
Immigration or abortion?
No, because you're saying that it's bad because it's illegal, right?
Yeah, but what do you specifically? Are you talking about illegal immigration or abortion? Because you brought up both at the same time, so I don't know which one you're
No,
relating
I
to.
was using abortion as an example. You're saying it being illegal doesn't matter anymore.
Well, because our country isn't land, and you can look at these other countries. They have very beautiful big walls covering their country, and like you look at pretty much.
Okay, time out. I know I'm not a part of this debate, but the last time you mentioned that, I actually researched it after the debate, and it turns out only.
Okay. Wallet,
You just said, put in the sources chat. You don't have to butt in. Just put it in there if you want.
Wallet,
I
this is
couldn't hear
a
what you
debate
said,
between us,
but-
okay?
Yeah, put in the sources chat if you have any sources.
Like
But
as a moderator, you just have to say like, oh, we need to do this and that.
Well,
You know?
yeah,
You
but basically, just not the best people were coming to our country. They're not the greatest people we would want to be living here. They shouldn't be here unless they're coming legally. We want people to come, but not legally. And building the wall can limit. It's better than nothing. It can stop people from coming in. It's a beautiful thing. We had many bad people coming to our country, and you can't call a place a country if there's no borders or walls. You know, heaven has gates too. We can't. It's a piece of land if we're just allowing anybody in. This isn't free land. This is a country. And if you're a legal immigrant, you're not a citizen of our country. So it's kind of breaking into. It's like someone going in your house and saying, "Hey, I'm a good person. Let me into your house." You know, you don't know me, but I'm a good person. You're like, "No, this is my place, not yours."
All right,
Pretty much the same thing. And
can I rebuttal that?
go ahead.
All right. So first of all, illegal immigrants have a 50% lower crime rate than native-born citizens in the U.S., as well as a majority of legal immigrants or illegal immigrants come here legally, and then they overstay their visas. So would you say those are bad people too, just because they're here illegally, even though they came originally legally?
And they're legal citizens.
Well, they were originally legal, and then they overstayed their visa. That's how a majority of illegal immigrants come here.
Well, it's a big problem. I think anybody who breaks laws.
It brings more workers. If someone came to my door and asked for a place to stay because they are homeless, and then they started like making food and like making me and paying rent, then I would let them stay at my house because I would be making money.
I can guarantee if it's a random human, you're not going to want to do that. That's just not how it works.
I'm just giving you an example as you give an example that's obviously flawed.
Okay.
If they were giving me money for staying in my place, or if they're making money for my house, then I'm going to let them stay there because
until you pay for their taxes, etc. Because they're not a citizen.
Nobody's paying for them. They're not on welfare. You need a social security number to be on welfare.
Yeah, and they
Exactly.
75% of them pay taxes. Illegal immigrants.
Okay, well look, I'm not saying everybody who comes to our borders illegally is a bad person, but they are automatically because they broke the law. But here's the thing.
No, but why is that why is it morally wrong if you want a better life? Like, why is that? Just because you're breaking a law means nothing.
Yeah.
Because it means everything. It means everything because if you're that lazy to not be able to work hard to get where you want to be in life,
they work. They work. Too.
Yeah, well, if you were hard enough a worker, you would legally come to our country. When you see these people all in the country who came, you see all these people. When you see all these people coming into our country legally, and they come into our country, and then you see all these other people coming in legally, it's such a disrespectful thing to them, saying how hard they worked and seeing all these other people just come in. It's not a right thing. It's very immoral and wrong.
You realize that most people that are coming in illegally, like over the border, are escaping violence within their home country. And most of these people don't
Well,
have
you
the time.
should.
They don't have the time to wait years possibly to get accepted into our country. It doesn't take
Well, just like
it takes months at times to
Also,
years.
have you heard of the
Well-
Raise Act?
elaborate a
The
little
Raise
bit.
Act, so pretty much it limits the amount of green cards issued by half, and it also imposes a cap of 50,000 refugees a year, and it also imposes a cap on immigrant visas to a maximum of 140,000 per year. So not only is he putting a cap on legal immigration, he's actually making it harder by saying
That's
that.
good.
Oh wait, why is that good? So you want them to come in illegally, but then again you don't.
No,
So I mean,
no,
you
I
want
don't.
them to come in.
No, it's not true at all.
You want them
Well,
to come in
I
legally,
have a
but then
question.
again you don't.
I have a question. Do you know the answer to this? Who brought in more legal citizens, Obama or Trump?
Who? We're not talking about Obama. We're talking about Trump.
But if
Well,
you,
you're talking about him doing terrible things
if you love-
immigration-wise.
if you
when he's
love
Yeah,
bringing
but I
more
don't care
illegal
about
immigrants.
Obama. We're not. We're not talking about Obama. The debate isn't Obama versus Trump.
it's just a Trump.
Exactly, but you're saying like he's doing terrible things to make it harder when he's brought
nothing to do
more
with
in someone who was in
It's
office
nothing
for
to
8
do with
years.
Obama.
That's exactly what it is.
Matter what
It
Obama
has everything to do with it because you're saying Trump
Why?
did terrible things to make it harder for them to come in the country. But when you compare his 4 years to Obama's 8, it shows that Trump did a lot more and a lot better. And you're going to talk
This
about legal
debate, this
immigration.
debate is about Trump, not
It's
Obama.
not about Obama. It doesn't matter what Obama did. It does
Yeah.
nothing to do with
I know it isn't, but all right, 4 people. Let's.
Trump only restricted it even more.
He made it
Which
harder
is
to
what,
get.
which is what you want. You want the right people to come in our country, and you.
So
Yeah,
split-
like I mean,
explain to me this. You
I
want
like because
people to come in legally, but then you restrict them from being.
billion
There's 2 of y'all
unauthorized
talking at once, so one
Yeah,
of
I
y'all
know.
go.
No,
at
I
once.
was trying to talk. What did you say, Mel?
You can go, Mel.
I said that back in 2017, 10.5 unauthorized immigrants came into the U.S.
Uh huh. So
Okay.
It's like before Trump built the wall.
The wall isn't even finished. The wall doesn't do anything.
yeah, it actually hurts people. If anything, there's no positives to the wall.
Majority of drugs come in through legal ports of entry, and a majority of people trading drugs between the borders are white Americans or just Americans.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who it is. It's many people come through our borders, right? Yeah, I don't know if you heard of games like MS-13, which Trump has taken out. Many gangs
No, they
come
haven't.
through our border. They smuggle cocaine, fentanyl, which causes our drug levels and death rates to come very, very.
I'm trying
Many
to.
drugs
not
coming
true.
through Mexico and other countries, and it's not the best. Then you have people human trafficking, sex trafficking, kidnapping, and then bringing them back to their country so they can't get charged for it. It's a terrible thing, and building a wall stops and limits that very greatly if you truly care about people who live here.
Okay, so so the wall, right? So we just mentioned that most of the drugs come in through the legal ports of entry, which a wall doesn't stop, right? Also, the
It
wall,
stops a lot.
no, it doesn't though. It really doesn't.
It does.
Okay. Do you want the link? Do you want the link?
You know, the legal port of
Hey, I'm
entry.
talking about illegal immigrants coming through our borders.
Yes, majority.
You're building a wall. You're stopping a lot.
Wait, you
And then
realize that
stronger
in order
border
to come in
security is
through the
what you
legal,
want.
in order to come in through the legal ports of entry, they need to be legal.
I'm talking about the border, people trying to break through illegally.
Yeah, which is
It's not a good thing.
which is the minimum of what you're talking about.
A
No.
lot of immigrants don't even go through. Don't jump a fence. They go like there's tunnel systems under the borders, and there's.
Which is why we have increased our border security by big amounts. Not that hard to realize. We've took out many gangs who were doing these drugs
No.
and kidnapping. I don't know if you've looked at
MS-13 is still a gang.
But
It's still
Mr. Cheat is
exist.
like the smallest number of people that come in through the border to smuggling in drugs.
Yeah, again, majority of drugs are American citizens.
Yeah. Also, are you in support of decriminalizing drugs?
no, terrible thing.
Okay. Wait. Okay. So how would you want to stop people from the drugs from coming in through the border if you don't want to decriminalize them out in here? If you decriminalize
make
them
them
here,
legal?
there's no incentive to go buy them from the border if they're already legal here.
It limits how many people buy it very easily.
Do you know the difference between decriminalizing and making something legal? You know there's a difference between that, right?
Yeah, I know. And I hope you know that we know the difference between Republicans and Democrats. One has morals in their life and one has zero morals and no purity. So that's one difference. But
When you
we actually care about people in their life. I know you don't have a religion probably, but most people are religious in America and have certain standards of morals in life. They don't want failures coming around. When you have people doing drugs everywhere, we're kind of trying to be a successful country, not lazy people doing drugs every day.
When you decriminalize drugs, instead of making a penalty for drugs going to jail, you put them into a rehab facilitation, and they come out, instead of being traumatized drug addicts from prison, they come out as possibly improved people.
No, they don't. That's not true. When you're in prison, you're sober for a long time, so that's not true. You gotta learn the consequences. When you do drugs, you learn the consequences.
That is not true.
It is true.
Drugs are traded within the prison walls. It's happening.
Not a lot, and you have to be a big dog to get that. So you have to be very big reputation to get that.
You realize there's gangs and drugs and violence within the prison as well. A rehabilitation center takes you away from all that, and it puts you in the right care. Instead of putting you with a bunch of dangerous people.
You can go to rehab.
No, if you're arrested, you can't. That's the point.
After. Well, if you had a brain, you would know in prison you're sober for most of the time, depending on who you are and where you are. It's not that hard to get what you think you're talking about.
Okay. So let me get this straight, right? You want people to come in legally, but then you're in support of restricting them from coming in legally. You want drugs to not come into the country, but you're not in support of decriminalize them in here.
It's not true.
That makes no sense.
That's not true. I didn't say I want it to be harder for them to come in our country. I want them to come legally, not illegally.
No, I said legally. Wait, the RAISE Act literally restricts immigrant visas that are legal. And you said that you're in support of that.
It makes it more stronger and more positive for people to come in.
Wait, it doesn't say that they're checking people for exclusively. It just says that they're limiting the amount of visas.
We have a lot of people in this country. You want to focus on the American people first.
How is this focusing on the American people? This is just preventing
because you're making things more disciplined and more harder, right? Which makes it for the good people. If you're gonna study for something and make it right, you have to make it right. There's certain things you have to do.
Dude, you realize that immigration as illegal or illegal, they literally, it's a net positive for the United States. It's actually better for you.
No, at our beautiful border, you keep criminals, terrorists, and drugs out of our country.
I just told you that they all come in legally, bro.
And you protect taxpayers against job loss and misuse of the welfare system. Quite frankly, very easy.
Bro, you can't. Yeah, go.
The 9/11, the terrorists who committed 9/11 were here legally. They didn't come in here legally.
Yeah, they went through the airport.
Terrorists.
Yeah, we did a lot of reform on our airports, etc.
Yes, and terrorists
I don't know if you know that.
It doesn't matter. The thing is that
it does matter. That's a big easy thing to realize.
No, but the thing is that terrorists can come in legally or not.
It's harder than you think. We've done a lot of things to make it harder. That's not true at all.
Yes, but they can still come in legally. A majority.
It's not as easy as you think it is. We've done much more security than you think.
You realize that it's really difficult to come from anywhere outside of a country that's bordering us illegally. So, if there's terrorists that are coming from out of our continent, they're not going to come here illegally because that's very difficult. So
why do people do it all the time?
Stop terrorism. Building a wall doesn't stop terrorism. It just stops people who want a better life from coming in.
That's not true. Many people who come in are not coming for a better life. They're coming to destroy our lives and to destroy theirs themselves. There are many bad people trying to come in our border walls. Many people do want to come for a better life, and that's why they work to become legally. If they really want a better life, they would come legally, not illegally.
They can't. They can't come legally. That's what we're trying to tell you, bro. Wait, who moved him?
Who removed him?
I don't know who.
You guys are talking. I can't hear you.
What just happened?
I don't know. Someone moved him. I don't know who it was.
Okay. So, William.
I can hear you now.
You're telling me that people should work harder to get legally, but then you support a plan that makes it harder for hardworking people to get in legally. You're contradicting.
That's not true. If you're a hardworking person, it's easier to get in. That's the truth.
The plan, the RAISE plan, right? South, that's what it's called?
Excuse me?
South, what's that plan called that you were talking about earlier?
The RAISE Act?
Yeah, the RAISE Act. You support that. So then how are you can't tell me that you support hardworking people coming into our country legally.
If you're a hardworking person, you can easily get that done. Not that hard.
No, you can't. We just
you can.
Bro. bro.
That's why Donald Trump has brought more legal immigrants to our country than Obama has in 8 years, and that's the truth.
Oh my god, that's because, bro, you support
Come
a
on, you gotta
plan
think a little bit
that
better than this, my
restricts
guy.
the amount of immigrant visas coming in legally.
And what's wrong with it? What is your argument about this? Like, elaborate.
My argument is that you're saying that you support legal immigration, but then you support a plan that's anti-legal immigration.
Not really. If we brought in more than the last administration,
Oh
that's just
my
not.
god. Do you have a source?
I mean, you can look at the facts, man. It's just a beautiful thing to look at it.
Do you have a source for like more legal immigrants coming in?
Yeah, give me 1 minute.
Well, I mean,
Now, if you want Mel to talk while I'm doing that, you can go ahead.
Yeah, you can go.
Because I don't want to argue while like looking up a source.
Okay.
well, I mean, building a wall isn't necessarily anti-legal immigration. My bad. Immigration.
No, we're not saying that the wall is anti-legal immigration. We're saying that the RAISE Act Trump passed is anti-legal immigration. Hello?
There's already a wall stretching across most of our border, and that it's impossible to build a wall that would stretch across the entire southern border because there's mountain ranges rivers that pass this border. It's impossible to build a wall that would stretch across our entire border. That's just not possible.
It would have been possible if you had 8 years.
No, it's just not possible. Is what I'm telling you. You can't build. They're not going to build a wall over a mountain and over a river. It just doesn't work.
Well, you know what's impossible is communism. It doesn't work.
No one's talking about that.
Well, you want to go off stupid logic? We can go
Will,
ahead
can you
on that.
please stay on topic? You keep randomly.
That's nothing to do with this conversation.
No, I'm not going off topic.
How
I'm
do we
just
go
going
from
to
Trump to
You
all
just
to
mentioned
communism?
communism in a Trump versus Trump debate.
I don't care what you think about communism. That's not the point of this debate. The point of this debate is to discuss Trump's policies and whether they're good or bad. And I'm telling you that it's not possible to build a wall over a mountain range and then through a river, then over some more mountains, and then in a desert. You expect construction workers who are paid very lowly to build a wall in a blazing hot desert.
Yes.
Yes, okay, sure.
It's a beautiful thing. It's worked very great. You can look at the
It hasn't!
China. We built over 400 miles of the world's most robust and intense
2,000
border wall.
miles.
So
Out of
2,000 miles. You're missing a lot. We're missing a lot more than you
no,
think.
I'm not missing anything. Nobody more.
The wall is missing a lot of land. 400 miles, and most of that wall was just remade wall. They just made it bigger. There's already a wall stretching across some of
a baby wall that you could literally walk over.
Well, you know what the wall did? You know what it also did? It destroyed Native American land. Well, in the process of building it.
Yeah.
Sounds worth it to me. Sounds like.
And also, explain to me how Trump said Mexico's going to pay for the wall, right? And then he started a government shutdown so we could get the money to pay for it. After claiming Mexico would pay for it for the first 2 years of his campaign, what happened to that? Why isn't Mexico paying for it?
Well, first off, the ball would have been a lot more built if Nancy Pelosi wasn't so very stupid. And we had a lot of problems to focus on before Mexico, which they should have paid for the wall. It's a sad thing. It should have been paid for, and it could have been paid for. Trump has almost did every promise he's made except that. So I don't want to hear about that. I mean,
it has been paid for by your taxpayer dollars and by the
which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, also by your taxpayer dollars and the Pentagon, which he took out like millions of dollars.
It was $3 billion to pay for the wall.
Yeah.
Guys,
Which is
I
totally
gotta
worth
head
it.
out.
Okay.
What happened?
Guys, I gotta head out. I gotta. Do
Okay, see you.
Okay.
Okay, so you're telling me that $3 billion worth of our taxpayer money and our federal funds go to a wall that is climbable and doesn't even stretch across our entire border?
Yeah, it's worth it. It's a beautiful.
It's
thing.
not finished. It destroys Native American land. It doesn't.
It
even
was
keep
gonna.
It doesn't.
The reason why it's not building anymore is because Biden stopped the build
which
of
is
it.
good.
Trump,
because we don't need
that's
it.
terrible. He's a threat to our society, and he's not going to be reelected because of that.
Dude, we've literally proved to you with countless of sources that
you haven't proved anything at all,
bro.
This is all
most of the drugs come in through legal ports of entry. Most of the illegal immigrants don't commit as much crime as native borns. It destroys Native American land. It's coming out of your taxpayer dollars, and it came out of the Pentagon.
Bad people.
And you're still saying it's a good idea.
William, idea. That's what we need.
William.
We need terrible people coming in our country who
You
shouldn't
just
be
proved
here.
that's not true. We just
I
proved
just
that's
proved
not
it
true.
is no. You didn't prove anything's true. You're lying. It's fake news, and you know that.
William,
we
you
sent you a
can't-
source, bro.
Common sense. In you.
William,
Where's the
William,
source at?
where are all your sources? Where are all your sources? You haven't.
Yeah,
you haven't.
I can go ahead. It's even on the
You're
White
crazy.
House if you want. It's literally on the White House as well.
William,
And
his
it's
White House.
It's very easy to say.
William,
And
why don't
where are
you?
your
It's
sources?
so
at?
easy
I
to
don't see your
find.
sources.
If it's so easy to find, why don't you find it?
Yeah, post it in.
Well, let me scroll past all the Democrats.
You've been looking for 10 minutes.
Fake news. And by the way, if the media agrees with everything you say, you're a full-on sheep, which you are a sheep.
We're not getting the stuff from the media, though. We're getting it.
No, it is from the media. You're going from big tech, you're going to fake news, big tech,
Bro,
and that's sad for you.
I'm
going
giving
right
a
now to some
gov.
sources because
You can't call everything you disagree with fake news, William. That's not how it works.
No, it's not.
That's not how a debate works. You can't do that.
No, it is.
You can't. That's not how a debate works.
Bro.
No, it is. Democrats.
It's a source.
Corrupt.
It's a source, and if it's a reliable source, which our sources are, it's
reliable source.
you have to accept it. You can't just deny it
No.
because you don't agree.
The last four sources I have
people
given
who are
were
communists
.org and
don't have-
.gov.
No, and communists don't have.
We're not talking about communism, William. William, this has nothing to do with communism. Do you understand that Donald Trump and
No,
communism?
because people who are communists don't have big enough brains to know that type of stuff. So I already know.
No, you just said everything's fake news.
Stuff to know.
Stop talking. We're not talking
I'm
about.
not gonna stop talking. This is complete biased lies.
Wait, your website is literally far right bias. What do you mean?
Breitbart, you just.
That's not far right at all.
Oh, really? Okay,
Breitbart?
let's see. Here. I'm gonna send
And
it
the
right
stuff
now.
you're saying is literally far
Breitbart is a sword. Oh my
Look,
goodness.
You're
It's
sending New
literally
York
far
Times.
right.
You're literally
It's
sending
far
New
right.
York Times. You're sending New York Times. I don't want to hear it. And you know.
Okay, you don't have to. You don't have to look at the New York Times.
And you know the Times magazine admitted to a fraudulent election too. So go ahead.
No,
and
they
sending
when?
fraudulent lies on the web. Dude,
Okay,
oh my
William,
gosh, you gotta
William,
keep up, man.
ignore
All
that
this
one.
fake news
Ignore
is
that
not so
one.
much. You gotta be able to keep up.
William, ignore that one. There's countless other ones.
Yeah, it's .gov, .org.
A .org is a reliable source. That means it's not. You can't. You know what a .org is, right? It means it's been checked that it's a reliable source and it's what do you call it?
The Guardian.
Secure.
Oh,
It's
that's
secure.
a sad far left website.
.org means secure, William. It's a secure website.
Literally saying the Guardian. You're sending all far left sites. That have been
Bro,
proven to
you
be
literally sent a
biased.
far right source. What do you?
So that's not true. You're sending the most biased lies ever. You're sending literally fake organization news.
Oh my God.
You're literally
William,
saying the New York Times. That is the dumbest.
William,
thing
you
that's
can't
happened
call
on
everything you
unbiased
disagree with
sites.
Dude, William,
You're literally
William,
saying the most
William,
biased sites ever.
William,
No,
stop
this is
talking for a
William
second.
news.
Stop talking for a second.
You can't tell me that I'm saying far right.
Stop
You're saying the most
talking.
far left thing. That's
You're
what a
repeating
hypocrite
yourself.
does.
William, you're just repeating yourself, dude. There's
You're
no.
repeating yourself with fake. You're repeating your sites with fake.
William, stop talking for 1 second, please. If you click on any of these sources, if you look up any of the things I just sent, there's countless sources on this. It's not just one source that says this. There's countless
That's
different
not true
sources.
at all.
William, look it up. Thing I just posted.
And there's nothing that supports you. That's the sad part.
Oh my goodness, William.
And what kind of link do you want me to send? What are you wanting me to send?
William, look at
Breitbart.
the sources.
I'm
Look
not
at the
going
sources.
on New York Times. I'm not going on
Bro,
New York Times.
Breitbart is literally
Fraudulent.
extreme far right with mixed factual reporting.
So you believe something that is mixed factual reporting and extremely far right over a .org and a .gov.
You're sending New York
.gov is literally a government
very far
website.
left and very sad.
Oh, so a government website is far left.
No,
William,
you're literally saying New York
website is far
Post,
left.
New York Times. You're saying the Guardian, AP, all far left.
So the government websites, though, that's
sad
South
of
Side.
you. That's sad of you. You can't even send
You said
good source.
words.
You can't say
William,
one
you have
good
no
source.
idea what you're
Typical
talking about.
communist. Typical communist. You don't even know
You're literally a
You don't know what
neocon.
you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. That's why you're a communist.
You haven't sent a single
It's
reliable
sad of
source.
you. You haven't sent me one. You've been sending me far left bullshit.
Bro,
This is sad.
prove that it's far left. We proved that your source was far right. Prove that ours are far left.
Go look up a media bias
So you're a
report.
hypocrite. Literally
No,
a hypocrite.
what?
Right on.
Prove it.
Come on, man.
Look up a media bias report. There's media bias reports that prove whether it's far left. I will look it up right now.
And White Times. Let's see New York Times. This is secret.
Media.
New York
Let's look at
Times.
how biased it is.
It's
Yeah,
left
no, here's your
center
source
with
you're
high
asking for.
factual
It's from
reporting
the
rate.
Hill.
Wait,
The
bro.
Guardian is mixed. Okay. The Guardian, I will admit, is not the most reliable
No,
source.
look at New York Times. Look at New York Times. Look.
There you go.
Look.
There
New
you
York
go.
Times is left center, but it's high factual reporting rate. It's less biased than yours. Okay, let's see. What other one did I send? NPR. Yeah, let's see NPR.
Okay, AP News is the least biased. It is least biased with a very high factual. You're telling me AP News, which is rated almost the least biased and very high factual reporting, is far left, but Breitbart's not. But Breitbart's a reliable source.
Yeah, also
I've sent
NPR is left center, but it has the highest factual reporting rate. Look, very high.
Left center.
Very high factual reporting rate, bro. It doesn't matter if it's left center. It has a high factual reporting rate.
You said far left. Far left. Left center and far left are not the same thing. Those are not the same.
It's right next to left center. That's biased enough.
Bro.
No, it's not. Far left is
yes, it is. It's literally on the left center. This is all fake news. It's been proven to be the most biased site ever.
It says high factual reporting rate. What do you?
Okay, hold on. Mel, are you still here?
Yeah.
Do you agree with William Sharp that everything that we've just sent is far less fake news?
Of course he does. He has a brain. Of course he does.
Please stop talking. Mel, do you agree with him?
Like, bro, like 90.
Oh, here you fucking go. I'm gonna send you a fucking source right now.
I feel like, bro, like over
because you're ignoring the facts. There you go, right there.
Let me see what your source is.
There you go.
What is this?
There you go, buddy.
Yes, we said left center. It doesn't mean it's.
No, you said it's not biased at all.
We said left center bias.
You just played yourself.
Yeah, it admits liberal bias, which is left center bias, but it doesn't matter because they have a very high factual reporting rate, which means they little to none get reported as false.
That's
yours, on the other hand, is mixed and is a far right.
Yeah.
So if anything, your source is less reliable than ours, and you're saying ours
my source is a lot more reliable. Believe me.
My
source is a lot more reliable than yours.
We just proved that wrong.
I just proved you wrong. I just sent you a source proving it admits to bias.
Bro,
okay, and yours isn't reliable either.
I checked 2 websites.
You're being a hypocrite then, bro. You're being a hypocrite then, bro.
You're so stupid, dude. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Breitbart has no editorial review.
You're a fucking communist. You can't tell me what I know and what I don't know.
Define communism. Define communism.
It's quite easy. Look what Hitler did. That was communism.
That's not communism.
That is communism.
Oh my God.
That's a communist country with a dictator. Go ahead and explain to me then what you think communism is. Do you think communism has ever existed in America? Yes or no?
Communism is a stateless, moneyless classless society. There's no dictatorship under communism. Do you know what stateless means, William?
It's literally a society and an economic belief which has never worked. Go ahead and try it. It's never worked.
It's never been
If you like communism, leave this country. It is not that hard.
Why would I leave a country that I want to change?
Because you obviously hate the shit of this country. You literally keep talking about this country.
I want to change the country, not leave it.
No, you obviously don't like this country, so it's not that hard to leave, and you know that.
Where else is he gonna leave to? No other country is communist.
Yeah, no, there's no communist countries.
You can go to countries that are far more, that you would believe are far more better than here, obviously.
No, I want to change
Mexico so much. Why don't you go there? If you love Mexico so much, you might as well go there.
Why would I go to Mexico? They have the same political.
Because you love it so much, you dick ride it 24/7. Might as well go there.
I said I love Mexico. I just said I think that the people of Mexico and of South America deserve a better life than they're currently in.
And explain to me how. Go ahead.
I'm telling you, Willie, that I think the
you're
people.
You're not telling me anything. What you're telling me is you believe people should raid our country and just come in it freely.
No, when did I say that? I said that the people who deserve who have the same, they're humans, right? They deserve a better life than they're currently in. Mm-hmm. If someone is in a dangerous area with their small children or their family and they can barely support themselves and they're like battling with gangs, I think they deserve a better life than they currently have. And America
that's why you should come legally.
Gives us them a slightly better life. You have a better
legally, and you can have that life.
William, you don't understand the fact that they don't have a time to come legally. If you're battling gangs,
they have plenty of time.
Getting overrun by gangs. You don't have the time to wait a year. You could get killed in that year. You don't have the time for that. People have to come over legally. It's not a choice. It's not not a choice.
Yeah,
It's
come over legally. Yeah, you're right. Come over legally. There you go.
They have to come over illegally.
That's not how you do it.
They're not choosing to. They have to. They have to
We're a
survive.
country of morals and laws.
Yeah, and a moral is giving the right to life, right? That's a moral.
Okay.
It's immoral to let people just break into your home. That's not how it
time
works.
out here.
It's immoral to let people die.
If you're just gonna...
No, there's no more timeouts and break-ins. This is not like how.
No, but if you're just gonna respond with baseless claims, I mean, might as well.
That's
just
not
end the
baseless
debate.
claims. If you're talking about baseless claims, that's what they've been doing this whole debate. So
Bro, we've been sending sources. The only source you sent was
yeah,
the far
far
right
left
mixed
sources
bias.
that have admitted the bias. So
One source, and it's still it's high factual reporting.
it's not high factual. It's
It
bias.
says right there, bro.
And
I
it's
checked
lies.
your source with 2 websites. Both say that they're far right mixed.
Did you go to elementary school? Did you go to elementary
It's a far left news source. So
William, are you inbred? Because you seriously can't read. Like, open your eyes. It's right
I
there.
think you're just closed-minded. I think that's it.
that's not true at all. I think you're denying facts. You're sending me far left sources.
There's
William,
And I
left
think you
center.
realize
No,
that
they
if we continue this baseless argument, it's never gonna get past. We're gonna be doing this for 5 fucking hours.
Honestly,
If you want to do a new
you're
fucking
the one
topic,
who's
you realize
baseless.
I'm gonna keep going. You're gonna keep going. This shit's not gonna go anywhere. So if you want to
Because
do this,
William,
you
you
can.
don't know
But if
what
you want to go to another topic
Because
like
you're
abortion, we
being
can.
ignorant.
That's not true. And this is 4 people, not 5. So I
You're
don't know
being
why
purposely
that's only me.
disingenuous.
I'm not being disingenuous. I'm the only one debating you guys right now. It's 2 versus fucking 1. This is like Donald Trump versus Chris Wallace and Biden. This is bullshit. So I don't want to hear it.
Oh my god, man.
So if you want to go back to a new
You're
fucking
an
topic
idiot.
like abortion,
Mel has
I'm
basically
very
been
glad to
dead
do
this
it.
whole debate.
Well,
So if you want to go to abortion, I'm very happy to do it.
Abortion?
Yeah,
You can debate whatever you want.
go ahead. So if you
Honestly,
support
I
abortion,
recommend you don't debate abortion with 3South because I swear to God, he will destroy you.
Yeah, no, let's debate abortion. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me why you support abortion. You can.
You're about to make a dumb
Sal, you can go first.
Me?
You can go first.
Wait, what argument are we gonna use? Because I think we both. Are you gonna use bodily autonomy?
We can use whatever. We can use multiple because they're obviously
Okay.
as well.
Or I'll use whatever you use. Just you go first. Because
Go ahead.
No, Sal, you have a better argument than me. You're better abortion debater. Just go.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You got this. I'll just back you up. Whatever.
Okay. So. No, actually, I need to. In order for this to work, I need to see why you're pro-life.
Well, I think that in order to a fetus doesn't have value, it doesn't have the human traits that gives a human its value. It hasn't adapted those traits yet, meaning it's just another life. It doesn't have any inherent value until it's developed a consciousness, a personhood, moralities, and such like that, as well as it's part of the mother. So it's not really autonomous to decide its own fate.
I rebuttal that.
Yeah, sure.
So I mean, here's the thing with Democrats: they only agree with science when it agrees with them. They're so pro-science, but they deny science.
Don't bring up the life could begins at
95%. No, science has proved that life
Oh
begins
my
at
God.
conception.
We know that, bro.
It's true.
I agree with
Exactly.
you.
You're saying it's a meaningless life, and it doesn't. That's
No, I'm saying
not.
it doesn't have value just because it's alive.
Well, that's an opinion, not really a fact.
No, bro. Okay. Do you think it's okay to kill
Okay.
animals? Do you think it's okay?
Stop,
Okay,
stop.
guys, let me.
Animals
I'm
are not
part of
compared to
this
human
debate, but I'm
No,
just telling you in simpler
No,
terms.
Willie, shut up. Willie, stop
I'm
talking.
not a part of it.
Wait, stop
trying
talking.
to
This is 3 versus 1.
No,
This
I'm
is
trying
3
to
versus 1.
explain to him what you're
This
saying.
is like Donald Trump versus Chris Wallace. And
No, Willie, can I talk? Yeah. Okay. William. What gives a human life more value than an animal? What gives it more value?
What gives?
A human more value than an animal.
Yeah.
What gives
about
it that?
What about it gives it more life? More value?
Just because it's human means nothing. What qualities give a human life more value than an animal life?
Well, God made animals to be eaten.
Bro,
we're not talking
God
about-
made
Bro,
people.
we're talking about
you're
life.
bringing
That's
religion
true, that's
into
a
this,
fact.
bro.
Religion is not an argument. Use a scientific argument, not religion. I'm not religious. I don't give a fuck what you think
Yeah, me
about
neither.
religion.
Well, I don't give a fuck what you think either, but
About
Yeah, but
religion, bro.
science, we're talking about science, not talking about religion. Everyone can agree science.
Well, you didn't. Okay, well, you didn't tell me that. You could have said that beforehand.
Everyone knows you can't use religion if I don't agree with you.
He literally just called us out for saying that we don't believe in science, and then he goes on and makes a religious argument.
Religion is not an argument, William. Use a scientific argument on why a human life is more valuable than an animal life.
Because it is. We are a society.
Why?
Because we contribute. Because animals don't have a meaningful life more than humans. We have to survive to eat. We have to survive
but
to eat. You can't be vegan and do that. We have to have
what gives a human the qualities that are more advanced or better than an animal? What gives it the quality?
We can talk. They can.
Yes.
That's one, and we have the lawful right to do that. So unless it's an endangered species, and
Okay,
there's laws to block it.
You agree,
What's the point?
so William,
This
you
is not
agree
a good,
that
this is not a good example, though.
no? Okay, so William, you agree that human life is more valuable because of consciousness, because it has an advanced consciousness, it has morality, and it has the ability. It's just more advanced. It has a more advanced consciousness.
I don't think killing an animal is immoral. I think it's moral.
Okay.
Yes, it doesn't have an advanced consciousness, right?
Go ahead, sure.
It advances us. It doesn't have morality, stuff like that, right?
What's your point, though?
The fetus doesn't have that.
It doesn't have that either. A fetus does not have morality or an advanced consciousness. It is simply a human life. It doesn't have any value. It doesn't have the human value, is what I would put it as. It doesn't obtain that value until birth.
Well, abortions are very evil and actually linked to white supremacy.
Well,
What?
I mean, like, you can't really use that argument when the
I don't care about that.
still in development.
Melo's talking.
Yeah, I know. What are you saying?
You can't really use that argument when the baby's brain is still developing.
Yeah, but that's the point.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not
the point.
Exactly.
We don't care that it's the potential of it. We don't care about the potential. We just care about the current state. And and if you kill it at the current state, then we don't think it's immoral. That's where
You're not.
So basically, you're going penny age again.
Bro. But the chances,
I don't care. I don't care about the chance. We're not killing it in the
Bro, the chances of a woman catching signs of a pregnancy before the fetus has a heartbeat is like really
heartbeat
rare.
means nothing. My argument, heartbeat doesn't. I'm not talking about life. Doesn't give something value because we kill animals every day. It's not about life. It's about the value. Why a human is valued. Why a human life is valued, not just life. Life doesn't value anything. Because we kill animals. Again, you can't place value on something simply because it's alive.
Yeah, an animal is a life, and you think it's okay to kill it. That's what we're saying.
That's not a good comparison at all.
Yeah,
Why
because,
not?
That's a terrible comparison. You can't compare an animal to a human. That's just not even.
Why not?
Makes no sense at all. And first off,
Bro,
like
number
if you,
one, animals don't even think like us, nor are they like us. They don't have morals.
Very true.
Wait,
And
can you repeat that?
They don't develop like we. They don't technically do, but like not really.
True.
Sorry, you cut out. Can you repeat it?
I said animals, they don't really develop like us, but like they technically do, but at the same time they really don't.
That's exactly my point.
Yes.
Is that a human
It's not a good
is
point at
more
all.
developed and has a more developed consciousness, right? But a fetus does not have that. Is our argument? Is a fetus does not have that?
Use that against them. It's in the womb.
Exactly.
How can you?
Yes,
That's why we don't care. That's
We're
why
not
we don't
aborting.
care.
We're not aborting
That's
animal
why you don't
babies.
fucking.
We're
Oh my
not
goodness,
aborting
you're
animal
so
babies.
ignorant.
Bro, you make
We're
no
not aborting
sense.
animal babies.
How can you use that argument though?
It's a stupid
Because
argument.
we're saying
You,
a fetus has the similar to.
Out the womb. How
Okay, wait. I have a question then.
It doesn't make sense. How can you use that argument?
Yeah, I have a question though for y'all. So, like, you're talking about animal and human life, but we're not talking about like killing animal babies in the womb. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. We're not talking about shooting 22-year-old humans. We're talking about babies in a womb born out yet. That has nothing to do with a fucking animal.
He's
Can everyone shut up? Can you guys shut up so I can explain my point very thoroughly?
Go ahead.
Okay, so a fetus. Okay, so let's say a human has more value than an animal because it has a more developed consciousness, right? It has moralities. It has the ability to speak. It has the ability to form a society, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It has an advanced consciousness. That is something that a fetus does not have. Meaning, it doesn't have the value that a human life has. It doesn't get that inherent value that a living, breathing, out of the womb human has. It doesn't have that because it doesn't obtain those qualities until birth or close to birth. So our argument is that since it doesn't have the qualities that give human life value, it does not have value.
And then therefore we don't care if
opinionated.
you abort it. That's our argument.
Okay, so you're off value.
Yes.
Yes, that's the whole point of the debate.
The whole point of abortion is
That's
whether
opinionated, though.
Okay, so your only argument is value. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
What's
That's your only
our
Well, I didn't understand like your reasoning though until you said that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well, at least you understand now.
But if you want me to like say my viewpoints like abortion wise, I can. I mean,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
just
go.
don't bring religion, please. We don't.
I will. I promise. I won't. I won't bring like my belief in God in this. I won't.
Okay.
This will be like personally, like straight on Planned Parenthood specifically.
Okay.
So basically, I think abortions are pretty terrible. I mean, it's been proven. There's videos of it of babies pretty much being in extreme pain. It's been proven by science that they are in pain when they get aborted. Usually, they get poked and stabbed, and there's been many bad things with Planned Parenthood where they mess with the baby parts and all that. But pretty much, Planned Parenthood was made by a white supremacist woman who was a Democrat, and her pretty much her goal and plan. Her goal and plan was she wanted to take the black population out of society, and her way of doing that was going into low income communities. And she said specifically she wanted to attack the black community and get as much aborted as she could. And well, her legacy is still living pretty strong right now.
That's exactly why most of the babies who get aborted is
exactly
black.
It's because of target black people. It's just systemic racism, really. That is true. I mean, it was even Planned Parenthood website admits it. Literally,
that gives us a higher chance to abort babies.
Can I rebuttal that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically, the reason that more black people or black babies or black fetuses are aborted every year is due to the fact that black people tend to live in low income areas, and most people can't afford to have that baby. And because of that, yes, of course, some abortion centers, there's more abortion centers.
The ladies come into low income communities.
Yes, and the thing is that people can't afford to have that baby. They are in a low income area where they cannot afford to.
Also, their single motherhood rate is over 70%, which is even more.
Please let me rebuttal this. Please let me rebuttal this.
Well, I mean, that's
okay. So, but like, it's like Democrats say like they care about black lives, but if you truly cared about black lives, you would want Planned Parenthood gone. They've aborted 23,700,000 black babies, and they abort 1,000 black babies every day in America. So if they didn't do that, there'd be a lot of more black people. The population would be raised a lot. And
but Democrats aren't aborting them.
They are.
No, the parents are aborting the child.
And
the Democrats aren't going, hey, I don't want you
funded by the Planned Parenthood. It's like they're funded by the KKK. But here's the thing.
That means nothing.
It doesn't. It means everything.
Why more systemic?
Okay, but hold up. I'll let you rebuttal in a minute. But like, you talked about the fatherless and the systemic racism. Well, yeah, of course, we do have a lot of systemic racism because Democrats built our government off of systemic racism during slavery, and they're still doing it to Planned Parenthood because that's when it was made during a very bad time.
Bro, you realize that if you make abortion, it will disproportionately affect black people in a bad way, right?
Yeah, because now more people.
It makes them a lot better. It makes their communities a lot better.
Okay.
And basically, the fatherless rate is why a lot go down that path. You don't have a father.
If you force those mothers to keep those babies, it's going to be even worse.
That's actually the number one problem in the community.
Yes, because of low income, and these fathers don't have the income to support their family.
That's my point. We agree.
Yes, and this is because of systemic racism. But do you realize? Exactly. No, but do you realize what ideology the Democrats had back then? They weren't liberal Democrats. They were conservative Democrats. Do you know what conservative?
The party's never switched. It's conserving. You're conserving.
Do you know what conservatism is?
Switch never happened, and we both know this. The party switch never happened.
Let me define conservatism for you. Now, can I talk, William? Conservatism, commitment to traditional values and ideas with opposition to change or innovation. Who?
Correct.
Why a conservative would want to keep slaves? Because that is a commitment to traditional value.
Wrong.
Yes.
Wrong.
A liberal
moral value. That's a moral.
That's traditional values. Traditional values is slavery and ideas. They don't want change. They don't want change or innovation, right? They don't want change or innovations. They don't want equality. Innovation is equality.
Liberals
they don't want innovation.
They want to change. They want change.
That's not true. They don't want change. They still do the same things.
You don't understand what conservatism is.
Yeah, they were conserving old traditional values.
Yes, and one of those old traditional values in America was slavery. That's
which we ended very quickly.
Yes, liberals ended it. No. Conservatives wanted to keep slavery.
Go to history class. I mean, I don't know if you're in high school yet, but
there is a very good history class. William. You understand?
Free the slaves. Democrats fought for slaves.
That's not the point.
Ended, and we still do more for the black.
One at a time, please, guys.
William. Republican and conservative aren't connected terms. They're not the same thing. A Republican nowadays just has a conservative ideology because of how the parties. It doesn't. They're not
liberals and Democrats.
Do you realize in other countries, Republican or conservative and Republican and Democrat are switched? in some countries. They're not.
Not here.
Republican and conservatism aren't a connected term.
Yeah,
They're not the same.
Well, they're not necessarily
Just like Republican Democrats.
Yes, no one said they are. That's why the party switch happened.
The party switch never happens.
A Democrat in the South would want to keep traditional values and would oppose opposition, like ending slavery. They would oppose that, and that is because they had a conservative values. That is the definition of conservatism.
No, that was not conservative.
What was it then? What was it then, William?
That was progressing to keep slavery, and that's a very evil thing.
That's
why conservative. That's why Republicans ended slavery in the first place, and we're conserving.
You know what progressive means
for a long time. We've been conserving equality for a long time, unlike you guys. And
that's not how it works.
Democrats are the party of white supremacy. It's been
That's
proven.
not-
That's not what
They are racist people, and they don't care about black people. Democrats do not care about black people, and they never have from the beginning. You can see it going on, and that's what happens.
Oh my god.
William,
Progressing equality
No,
is
this
not
is
how it
for
works.
people, guys.
one of my videos.
Dude,
Wallet.
what?
You're not part of this debate. Okay.
You can rebuttal me.
Don't be Chris Wallace. Wallet.
Okay. So listen to me. A person advocating or implementing social reform or liberal ideas. That is progressive. That's a definition of progressive. A liberal would be someone who is progressing society with new social reform. A reform would be ending slavery.
Not true.
A liberals ended slavery because that is a social reform.
Man, do you not know what party ended slavery?
It doesn't. I'm trying to tell you that Republicans and conservatives aren't a controlling term.
You look like a clown right now, bro. You're literally playing yourself.
William, the Republicans rules. This is how they're not. Republican and conservative aren't a
What
joint.
Democrats did was progress to have slavery and to progress to keep it. And
Progress means
conservatives
Oh my goodness.
served old traditional equality, and they fought for equality, and we've kept it, and we've been doing a great job.
William, old traditional values in America wasn't equality. Traditional values in America
go ahead.
is not equality.
If the party switch, go ahead and tell me what
You're not
Democrats
saying the
have done
party
to black-
switch. We're saying that conservatives and Republicans are different, and that the liberals at
No,
the time
not
were
at all.
conservative. Oh my goodness.
Not true.
Oh, they were Republican.
Not true.
Listen. To progress,
Dude, how did we go from this to? I literally brought up the fact of abortion and how it was linked to white supremacy.
yes, we're arguing. You're arguing. You're saying that Democrats are the party of slavery, and I'm saying yes, conservative Democrats. Conservative Democrats.
Not true.
Why would you, William? A traditional value, right? A traditional American value, because they're American
They
politicians.
progressed to war to fight against us. That's what they did.
William, progress
Based off
doesn't
your
just
logic.
mean move forward. A progressive means to innovate and reform something.
And you know how they moved forward was to start a war, a civil war, and they
No,
lost
progressive
very
doesn't
easily.
just mean William in the field of politics. Progress doesn't just mean to move forward. It means to reform. To be a progressive means to reform into new liberal ideas.
And you know
That
how
is
they
what
were.
progressive. That was the definition of progressive is.
And you know how they reformed was taking away black voters' rights, etc. They did this.
That's
a long
not
time
no.
ago.
It's
Oh my goodness.
positive.
That's
They did a
going
lot
back.
of bad
That's not
things, and
progressing.
you know
That's
this.
going back. That's going backwards. That's
Exactly.
not
No,
progressing.
because slavery ended, and they progressed to.
No, William, that's not progressing.
They did.
Progressing
no, they
is
are progressing. No,
That's
their
not progressing, William.
Because they're hatred. and
that's moving backwards. That's moving backwards.
Democrats-
William, if you're going back to oppressing black people, if you had unoppressed black people, and then now you're going back to oppressing them, that is not progressive. That is
Okay, so then
going
tell me
backwards.
what Democrats. Name one place in America that black people have thrived under Democratic power for 50 years. Go look at Chicago. Go look at Detroit. They've been in
Civil
nothing
rights
but failure under Democratic power.
The
Yeah, the
Civil Rights Act
movement
was
for
signed by a
Republicans
Democrat.
is great stuff.
The Civil Rights Act was signed by a Democrat. That helped flourish black people. Even though it wasn't, they're still so oppressed, of course, but that was signed by a Democrat. And Democrats supported civil rights for years. Kennedy supported it. LBJ supported it. I think FDR supported it as well. They all supported, and those were all Democrats.
I swear to
Why?
God, if he says like
Democrats-
MLK was Republican, I swear.
Yeah, MLK was literally
His literal family members alive today said he was a Republican. So you're
Who the fuck?
he
He
was
was
a
so.
Republican. And if
Have
he
you
was
heard
alive
Have you heard
today,
him talk? He was
As-
literally. Oh my god.
Hey, MLK,
He was a socialist.
as his family members said today, they said this year that he would have voted for Donald Trump, which is the truth. He's a Republican.
Yeah, because they're Trump
Not a
supporters. That
Democrat.
doesn't mean anything. He literally is a
It is.
socialist.
He even hit MLK's family members, which I can do this on TikTok and literally stitch you, but he's literally family members have literally said he's a Republican and he would have voted for Donald Trump today, which is the truth because Trump cares about black people.
William, do you want to hear a quote directly from MLK?
He totally loves the 94 crime bill, that's for sure.
Let me tell you
94
what
crime bill
MLK
wasn't
said.
racist, bro.
Well, no, wait. South. Can I say what? Can I give a quote from MLK?
Okay, yeah, sure.
I am much more socialistic in my economic theory than capitalistic. Capitalism has outlived its usefulness. Does that sound like a capitalist to you?
He was a capitalist. He's a Republican, and he's literally.
I am much more socialistic in my economic theory than capitalistic. That is socialist. Yes.
Go ahead.
This is in the sources right now. Where's the sources thing?
Where's the? Go to the channel.
I found it. Yeah. Okay. Here you go. This is some sources.
Watch him say the source is biased or some shit.
Look it up. I don't know if it is, but I'm just saying this is literally a quote from him.
Okay, give me 1 minute.
King believed that a multiracial working class movement was required to overcome the failings of capitalism. Capitalism has time and time again held down black people. Why would a civil rights activist support that?
Because we fought for equality and ended slavery.
But capitalism doesn't help equality. It pushes people down, even regardless of race. There's always going to be a leading class that is oppressing another class.
Like
that is how capitalism functions. With the bourgeoisie are currently oppressing the proletarian into exploiting their labor and using their labor to only value them or to only profit them. Capitalism historically holds down some sort of class or party or people.
Am I able to send a video on here?
Yeah. You have to click the plus next to it.
Oh, whatever. Don't send a video as needs. That's just stupid.
That's not stupid. That's an opinion.
You just send the video of the MLK family saying they support Trump. I already know.
So you basically, it goes against what you're saying already. That's the thing.
What? Okay, who are you gonna believe more? MLK's family, who was there secondhand, or MLK himself saying this?
Give me 1 moment. MLK capitalist. There you go. Hold up.
Read the article before you just send it.
Yeah, I will.
Here's.
Who's getting the notifications?
I think it's me. I'll turn it off.
Alright. Just put do not disturb on.
Yeah, how do I do that?
What do you believe? Do you believe that he was a non-affiliated?
No, we just believe that he was socialist, that he wasn't a Republican, because Republicans are capitalists.
Okay. But he wasn't a Democrat, right?
No, he wasn't a Democrat either, because Democrats are also capitalists.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
All right. If while I'm reading this, if Mel, you want to say anything, go ahead, man.
Yeah, Melly.
I found another source that says the exact same thing that MLK said. It is another source. This is a .org that literally says the exact same quote that MLK has in the other's one. That he's more socialistic than capitalistic. And this is a .org. Reliable source. I sent two sources. Both of them say the exact same quote. You have to scroll down a little bit for the second one, though. It's a little bit farther down.
And you believe socialism is the same as it was back then?
No, but of course it's changed slightly, but it's still socialism. He still didn't agree with capitalism. He's still anti-capitalist.
He wouldn't agree with socialism today, that's for sure.
It hasn't really...
Wait, socialism today, what do you define that as?
Well, it's an economic belief, pretty much.
No.
Pretty much, it's just going to make everyone equal. It's going to make everyone equally as poor. If I own a Chick-fil-A, I'm not going to own it. It's open. It's
private business just
by the public. Everyone's equally as poor. That's pretty much exactly what it is. I mean, that's just an example, bro. It's a political, social, and economic belief, literally.
Where the workers own the means of production, meaning the workers profit instead of the bourgeoisie, which is the rich that don't do as much work.
Exactly. So no one's rich. Everyone's equally as poor. You can't strive to be a millionaire.
Everyone is equal. Everyone has the exact same equal.
Which no one wants. Anybody who is a very hard-driven person who wants to be a millionaire one day, they can't achieve that.
Think about this.
Everyone is equally as poor, bro. And you're basically making everyone go mofo, bro. That's pretty much my point.
The thing is, there's no poor, though. The thing is, there would be no idea of poor because everyone has the same things. And think about this. If you're getting everything
the same things.
In a successful economy, successful social economy, your economy is self-sustaining, so you're getting everything you need. You're not striving because you have what you want and need.
And I don't want what everyone else wants. I want a lot more. So that's
you want what you want, what you need.
Exactly. And I believe in a free market and a.
Wait, you don't believe in a free market because you're anti-immigration.
Yeah, you don't.
That's not true at all. I'm actually pro-immigration for illegal immigrants.
You just said you were.
I'm very anti-illegal. I'm very anti-illegal.
A free market person would believe in illegal immigrants coming in without any regulations on immigration. That's what they believe in. They believe in no regulations, bro. You're not.
No,
you're
because
not
when
a
you
free
crack
market.
down,
William, a free market means
sometimes you have to make
anybody.
changes on cracking down.
William. A free market means.
So do you believe Trump was progressing when he was trying to build a wall? That's basically your logic?
No.
No, that's the opposite. William. Do you know what a free market is, right? It means anyone can input into a market, right? But by disagreeing with any type of immigration, you are inherently saying you don't agree with the free market because you don't think everyone can input in a market. Only some people.
Why do you say that?
Because you're disagreeing with people coming into our country and inputting in a market.
Yeah, you're a Republican, not libertarian.
That's not a free market. That's not a free market. It's a selective.
That's not. Pretty much.
No, he said it. That's literally not a free market. If not everyone can input into a market, it's not free.
Well, you can if you're a legal citizen.
Bro.
No, but no.
I'm just against.
Not an actual free market.
I'm for a country, not a land.
Bro.
Okay, either way, it's not a free market, William. That's not a free market. If not
free
everyone
market
can,
means no regulations. Zero.
There's no regulations on who can input, William. If you put a regulation on who can input, it's not a free market.
So basically, you're saying that's progressive. Then that's basically your. That's
No,
your
because there's
that is
bro.
what you're saying, right?
You're literally saying that the only two sides are Democrat and Republican, bro.
That's not
There's
true.
more sides than that, William. There's more ideologies than that.
I know that, but that's a very low percentage of anybody who is that. You know what I mean?
William, 40% of America. I'm pretty sure. What is it? 40% of America agree with socialism. I could be wrong, but I know it's not a minority. There's a lot of people who agree with it, or who agree with more than.
Do you think it'll ever? Out of curiosity, do you think it'll ever come to power in America?
Possibly not in our lifetime, but possibly.
It could. I hope not, but.
Well, you don't know what socialism is, but okay.
Yeah, it's everyone equally is poor, and you know this. You can't. If I own a Chick-fil-A, it would be owned by everybody. Everyone's equally poor.
4 in 10 Americans.
You don't care.
4 in 10 Americans embrace some form of socialism.
You don't care about poor people if you want socialism. Everyone's equally as poor and below.
It puts people out of poverty. The only way. No, it puts everybody in poverty. If you think about it, no, it doesn't.
It does.
William, in a successful socialist economy, people aren't striving for more because they haven't.
Successful.
It hasn't really been fully tried. Usually, it has a mix of capitalism.
Exactly. That's your excuse. It hasn't been fully tried, but no, it's because it's impossible. It can't work. It sounds good, but it can't work.
Literally could. It just doesn't. People
never successfully used because it's not successful.
Well, socialism isn't meant to be
if it was such a good ideology, it would have happened already. If it was such a good thing, it would have happened.
Because do you know what the Red Scare is? It was a thing. It was a propaganda movement in around Soviet Union time. Yeah. It scared millions of people away from socialism with false propaganda. Propaganda is by definition is a half true or not true form of advertisement or media.
Well, it is opinionated, yes.
Yeah, well, it's usually not true, and there was a bunch of propaganda pushed around, and especially in America, to scare people away from socialism because of what the USSR was apparently doing, even though most of the stuff that was on there wasn't true.
Wait,
you have a freedom right to be able to do that, though, don't you agree?
What?
You have a freedom right to be able to push out what you believe, though, correct?
I'm just saying that's why a lot of people, that's why you're scared of socialism.
No, I get your point, okay. I'm understanding what you're trying to say.
Amar isn't even in here, he's not even streaming it.
He isn't?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, is the Twitch on?
Oh, Waleed, are you streaming it?
No, I can't for some reason. But yeah, Amar had to go because he had some family issues.
Well, I'm still recording it. I'm still recording it either way, so.
Okay, good. All right. Anyways, yeah. So the thing is, socialism is the point of socialism is instead of a few people that are always wealthy, everyone has equal wealth, which is good.
Which is little to no wealth at all.
Why would it be
equally?
No wealth?
Because we're all equally poor. You can't strive to want.
Why would it be little wealth? Why would there be wealth? If you own a meat
drive to be successful in socialism.
William, if you are making the full profit of a business instead of making partial profit because someone's stealing the value of your labor, if you and all your business are making the true value of what that business is outputting, then you are making more money than before.
No, I don't want anyone involved in my business.
But it's not your business anymore. There's no
socialism. It's not. You're correct.
There's no rich owners.
Yeah, my wallet's your wallet. Exactly. My wallet's your wallet, which is disgusting. I don't want that. Most people want to strive to be a millionaire, bro.
William, it's not collectivism. You aren't sharing your wealth. Everyone just has equal opportunity to wealth. The same wealth.
Opportunities to be just as poor, pretty much. Nobody can be a millionaire.
No, it doesn't. Why would it mean that?
Do you believe anybody? Because Do you believe you can try to be a millionaire under socialism? Yes or no?
There's no point in being it, William.
Exactly. That's exactly my point, bro. Thank you.
The only way to be a millionaire is to oppress another class or to exploit the labor of a working class.
It's called being a harder worker and
no, William. In order to be a millionaire, you have to work 100 times harder than a labor worker, which is not possible. No one works that hard. You don't work harder.
That's not true at all.
Yes, it is, William. The average person makes $40K a year, and if someone makes $1 million a year, that's a huge difference. And no one works that hard. No one's working that hard.
That's not true. They can earn multiple.
36,000.
36,000, exactly.
Even like a teacher, a little.
That's
bit
the average wage in America.
A little bit more. I mean. Your point. What is your point? Okay, that's their job that they worked for that opportunity to get that job. What's your point?
Thing is, yes, exactly. The rich people are currently oppressing the working class into making less money so they can make more money. And the point of socialism is to abolish that, so no one is oppressing another class for their own gain. Everyone is gaining.
Yeah, but I disagree with that, so I don't get what your point is. We have different views on it. I disagree. You agree?
No, but that's literally how it works.
Yeah, but I disagree with.
Okay, William. Okay, so if I
Bro, I don't get I'm not going to convert to socialism. I don't know what you're trying to do.
No, I'm not saying you are, but I'm trying to explain what socialism is.
No, I get what your explanation is. I heard it.
Yeah, but you think it's all poor. You don't understand how it works.
It is, bro, because I understand you're saying we're all equally, but we're all equally not being able to have a lot of money to strive to our own things. You can't own a yacht. You can't do this and that. It's just all equal. You have nothing to strive for.
The way you make that money is the oppression of another class.
You have nothing to strive for in life. You take things away from hardworking people, and then everyone's equally at the bottom. It's not a good thing, and that's the reason why it's never worked. It never happened.
Walmart makes $524 billion a year.
As they should.
And they have around 200,000 people that work there. Imagine, instead of one person or a few people making a majority of that money, what if all the 200,000 workers? That's not poor.
I don't think that should happen at all. No, that's their money. They worked for it. They got there for a reason. They're in that position.
They're making that money off the labor of their workers instead of they're not working for that money.
And those workers agreed to work for them, and they agreed for the price.
Because if you don't agree with that, you starve to death. If you don't agree with that, you can't eat.
Bro, William.
And then have you looked at places that have that, dude?
Bolivia.
I'm trying to understand what you mean, because you're literally everyone is equally in struggles when you do that.
No, the thing is, no one's in a struggle anymore. You're lifting people out by giving everyone the money.
That's opinionated in a sense, because most people won't want. Go ahead, man.
Okay. William, do you know what private prisons are?
Private prisons.
Prisons owned by private corporations, not by the government. So they pretty much profit off of mass incarceration and cheap labor from the prisoners. Do you think that's okay for them to do?
Well, if they got in a private prison, that's what's going on. I mean,
yeah, but
I'm not too. Here's the thing: I'm not too educated on that topic, so I can't really give a full-on answer.
Okay, but I just told you what private prisons are. They're prisons owned by private corporations, which means they're not owned by the government. All right, so they profit off of mass incarceration. So the more people coming into their prison, the more the more cheap labor they get, or the more free labor, because they what's it called? They get the more prisoners they have, the more prisoners they could do labor for. So pretty much they exploit the prisoners there for cheap labor. Do you think that's okay?
Well, when you're a prison in America, you're kind of like no, I'm not going to say slave, but you kind of are a slave. You kind of lost all your rights, and you have to do certain things. I mean, that's what happens.
Okay.
Don't you agree a little bit?
Wait, can you repeat that? Sorry.
Basically, when you're a prisoner, you kind of lost all your freedom. When you're kind of owned by America in a sense. When you're in a prison, you're kind of like a slave, basically. You lost all your rights.
No, because it's a private prison. It's not a government-owned prison. So you're owned by a private business. Would you rather be owned by the government or a private business owner?
I couldn't give you a full answer on that, honestly. Okay. I really don't done that much research.
A government, they do it for the people. A private business does it for profit, for money, because that's the only incentive they have. So the more people that get arrested, the more cheap labor they get.
Hey, that's good. I mean, more money for them.
So you support mass incarceration in order to get cheap labor. You support pretty much exploitation.
That's not true.
You just said that.
You just said that.
It's not true. Okay, so you're talking about big government. Do you?
No, we're talking about big business. It's a business, not the government. Private owned,
Government owned
not
versus
the government owns it. Private owned means the government does not own this prison. This is a private business owned by a select amount of people,
This
not
is
the
what would
government.
happen in a free market.
I'm trying to see. I'm trying to research it to understand it more.
I can give you a source right here.
Go ahead.
Right here. Here, I'm gonna post it in the sources.
All right.
Okay, so
Yeah, right
yeah.
there. I posted it.
Got it. Okay.
This is how capitalism functions, but like in a viewable way.
Especially in a free market, because in a free market, everything is privatized. No government
Yeah,
involvement.
that's how capitalism would function.
Which I am more of a first government. So,
You're more of a what?
are you talking about big versus small government?
No, this is how capitalism would function in a completely free market. It's not currently free. If there's a completely free market, this is what capitalism would look like. This is just an example. It's an example of how capitalism could work or will work.
And thanks to Biden, those private prisons are defunded.
And what's your point in saying it's better for it to not be like that?
Because then they don't profit off of mass incarceration and cheap labor.
So people aren't directly exploited because of incarceration. Someone in jail doesn't deserve to be basically slave labor. Because the minimum wage isn't flying.
Yeah,
there's no minimum.
They get paid. They just get paid through like lowering time, right?
Yeah, most of the time. Sometimes it is.
Yeah.
But it's basically just slave labor.
Basically, they're a slave either way in both. I mean,
what?
Basically, they're a slave in both. They lost their rights.
But yeah, but why is that? Why would you? Okay, let's say I robbed a convenience store. I just deserve to be a slave now because I needed money to survive. Because I can't afford to survive to help myself because I don't have job opportunities where I live.
Mm-hmm.
Because of a low income area I live in, there's less job opportunities, and I don't have the credentials to get those job opportunities because I cannot afford college. So I go and I rob convenience stores so I have money to survive. And then I get arrested for that. And then I go and I have to be a slave now to someone because of something that I had to do to survive.
Basically, that's what they're saying is their consequences, basically, what they're kind of
saying. Slavery. So slavery isn't technically. I thought you didn't support slavery. I thought you.
No, I didn't say I supported this. I'm kind of learning about it.
Okay, so then this is a free market. So if you support a free market, you support this.
Well, our market's currently not actually free.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. This is just.
No, you're right. No. Okay. No, I agree. Do you have any other topic you want to talk about in this, or do you want to move on, or what?
Wait. Do you agree with socialism, or do you agree with?
No, hell no.
Oh, wait, so what did you agree with?
Lalo, can you define capitalism for him?
No, I'm not gonna do that. I know. No, I don't want to do that.
Please
I know what you're trying.
But no, basically, I'm gonna say that I currently don't have a full-on opinion about private prisons because I've never really done too much research about it to give you a full answer. That's my answer.
Okay.
I'm not doing it, Waleed.
But you guys want to move on to a new topic?
We can move on to something else. Can we go back to abortion? Or not?
Yeah. We
just went from abortion to white supremacy, slavery, and then to socialism versus capitalism.
I'm gonna let Mel talk though, because I've been talking too much.
Yeah, Mel.
Mel, you can talk, bro.
Yeah, about the abortion.
I'll let Mel go because I've been talking way too much.
Also, what's the problem with Gary back on the abortion topic or something?
Yeah, we're back on the abortion. We got way off the topic.
Yeah.
All right, so what were we again? The difference between animals and and or like what makes a human life valuable. We were on, right, and then we were saying that like it was because of advanced consciousness, and then after that, Sharp went on about uh abortion. That the reason he doesn't support it was because of like it was made to like kill black people, pretty much. That's what he was saying, right? And then we refuted it, and then we went to slavery. So yeah, Mel.
Oh yeah. So so I think it was both of y'all that was saying like like I was trying to use brain developed argument.
The what?
I think that it was both of y'all trying to use the brain isn't fully developed argument.
Yeah, no, we were trying to use the advanced consciousness argument. So like,
Well, I mean that's practically the same.
no, I mean, okay, sure, yeah, I guess
What do you say?
that
Can
like
you hear him?
if we were trying to use the argument that it's like the brain is underdeveloped.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. That's the point. Is that it's not developed enough to be considered a human, to be considered a person, which means it doesn't have value. It doesn't have the value.
But like,
It's not developed
but like, I just don't get how you can use that.
because
Like that argument still.
because it's not valuable. It doesn't have what gives a human more value than an animal. Doesn't have obtain those qualities. Meaning it's not morally wrong to kill something that has the same value as an animal you already kill.
Development, just because of the fact that it's still in development.
Yeah, but that's the point. Is it hasn't developed enough
Yeah.
to consider value. That's the point of the whole. That's the whole point of our argument. Is that because it's not developed enough, it doesn't have the value.
It's developing though.
Yo, okay.
I thought you support like minorities though. Basically, they're in a minority.
It has nothing to do with minorities. It has nothing to do with race.
No,
or anything.
let's not go back to Republican slavery and all that bullshit. All right, let's just stay on this topic. All right.
To sum it up fast, that's basically
Wait,
systemic racism.
you say like you guys say you care for like people who can't speak for themselves, correct?
What? That is nothing.
When did
Okay,
we
come
ever
on.
say?
I mean, that's the true, right? Because babies can't speak for themselves. They're in the womb.
That is,
You're not
I
babies.
do care about
We're talking about people who don't have
not being able.
You don't
But
even
you
have
said
you don't even have the capacity to speak. What do you mean?
exactly. So I'm saying, why speak for them? It's not your choice.
William, that saying doesn't mean people who physically can't speak. It means people who don't have the power to influence anything. It's
And
not,
those babies don't have the power.
No,
Well,
but that doesn't
I mean-
matter.
Yeah, but they're
William.
not people. They're just life.
Yeah, they're just life. They're
Brother.
not a person. They're not a
They
person.
are. They're
No, they're
just in a
not. By
womb.
definition, they're not. By definition, they're not a person. I'll give you the
Bro, yes
definition.
they are, bro.
Let Mel talk. He's about to talk.
Okay.
Can I define person? Let me see what the
Yeah,
person
just
talk.
define personhood for them.
You can talk for now. Yeah, personhood. Let me define that. It's better too. Quality of being an individual person, which a fetus is not an individual. Anyways, it's not autonomous. First of all, let me see. Okay, they have to have the following traits to be considered to have the cognitive criteria of personhood: consciousness, the objects and events internal or internal to the being, the capacity to feel pain, reasoning. There's more. I think there's one more. Let me see. Hold on.
Well, I mean, how do you know if the fetus doesn't feel pain? Because that hasn't been.
It's been proven it
We
does.
don't care if he feels pain or not, man.
Why do you say that?
Because
At this point,
I hear two people at once.
bro, the arguments that you are stating are just controversial topics.
Facts.
no, bro. Oh my god. Okay. Laylo, can you explain it to them again? I don't think they understood what our point was.
We don't care if it's developed or not, or I mean, if it's going to develop any of this stuff until third trimester, it doesn't even feel pain. The point is that it isn't developed enough to have the qualities that a human has that gives it, in our eyes, more value than an animal. It doesn't have those qualities.
Well,
That it isn't valued enough to matter if it terminated. There's no value, so it doesn't matter if we terminate it.
can I like rebuttal that really quick?
Yeah, but okay.
Here's my thing. Many of these people who could have been born but were aborted could have had a great destiny for
They
them.
also could have been murderers. That's not a point.
And they also could have been the cure for cancer. That's one
Bro,
thing.
you don't know that. You wait. So you're saying we're speaking for the fetus? I mean, you're saying that we're deciding the life for the fetus, but then you're trying to like predict the life for the
That's
fetus,
not
right?
true at all. No, I'm saying there's possibilities that it could have a great destiny that could.
Okay,
Yeah, but
listen.
okay,
Didn't we already talk about this last debate?
Anyways,
Okay,
with
I don't
respect to abortion, personhood is the status of a human being having individual human rights. The term used in Roe v. Wade. But a fetus is not an individual and does not have the qualities to be a person. Does not have the cognitive abilities to be a person, meaning it does not achieve personhood. Meaning it has no value within a human society. Its value is not there. It is the same value as an animal. It does not obtain the qualities that makes it a person, and personhood is what gives someone individual human rights and value. Because, like you said, a human is more valuable than an animal because of its advanced consciousness.
Yeah, because of its
And
characters.
but it's gonna be birthed to be human, so I don't understand.
Wait. Okay. Are you against like Plan B?
That's controversial. I mean, it depends on if it's needed or not.
Yeah. Okay. So if it's needed, are you against it?
Okay, no, well, it really depends. Okay, basically, maybe a little bit. I can't really fully tell you. Maybe a little bit. I'm only for abortion for two reasons. If someone got raped, or the mother or baby's gonna die, I think you should abort it.
Okay. But do you think like let's say a woman gets like someone nuts in a woman, right? What Plan B would do, what they would do, what it would do is it would eliminate the sperm cell before fertilization. Are you against it?
Well, for if someone's gonna have sex and they think they could get pregnant, and if they wanna stop it by doing whatever they can to prevent a baby coming, I think that's okay.
Yeah, okay, but you realize that that sperm cell has the potential to become a baby, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, bro, you just contradicted yourself.
No, I didn't. I didn't agree. I was saying I didn't agree with it. I'm talking about if you're on what is it called? A pill to not get pregnant, or a condom, etc.
No, okay,
There's
because
certain things you can prevent in sex
you guys
because
are arguing potential, right?
no, because sex comes with consequences. Just like that's like saying I'm eating, but I don't consent to digest.
You're talking about something different. What I'm talking about is I'm saying, do you think if a man nuts in a woman and a woman does not want the what's it called, the sperm cell to fertilize in her, do you think it's okay for her to use Plan B in order to eliminate that sperm cell before
With her
fertilization?
pregnant or no?
Number one, if she doesn't want to get pregnant, she shouldn't have sex, or she should just use birth
Oh, that's
control.
not my point, bro.
You should have
Okay.
kept the legs close in the first place.
Oh my God, that's not my point. No. You guys are completely dodging my question. I am saying,
No, no, bro. Because bro, if a woman has unprotected sex, it's a big thing for her to get pregnant.
bro, I am asking you if you are against
So get,
You
contraceptive.
already answered that,
Plan
bro.
B is a contraceptive.
you said what, bro?
Are you against contraceptives? Because Plan B is a contraceptive.
Are you for it?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you explain more? Because I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know what that is.
A contraceptive is like either something that prevents pregnancy, right? So Plan B would prevent pregnancy. The sperm cell would already be in her, but since it hasn't fertilized, that you can still use Plan B to eliminate that sperm cell before it fertilizes, before conception starts. I'm saying, are you against that? That's what I'm asking you.
Well, well, I mean, like that would prevent the pregnancy from ever happening. So
But that doesn't go against our point, is what I'm saying.
No,
At
yeah,
all.
no, it does because you guys are
How so?
arguing. Okay, do you or do you not support? Yes or no? Just answer that question, please.
Well, here's the thing. You're talking about either aborting a baby versus preventing pregnancy. That's two different things.
Bro, no. Answer
Bro,
the
you're kind of
question.
contradicting yourself.
It's gonna line up
It's
as soon
because
as.
you guys were arguing potential. That's
Like,
basically
bro,
what
I
I'm
mean,
trying
like,
to tell you.
one is
You're
That's what I'm
arguing.
saying. It's potential versus actual pregnancy is what I'm saying.
So
Bro.
are you? No, wait.
her part.
Your argument earlier was that it has a potential to be
Raw dog is
successful or
sometimes.
to be a human person. That was your argument earlier. Was that it has the potential to be that? So now we're arguing that are you against contraceptives because that obstructs the potential of a sperm cell to become an egg, and then that egg to become a fetus, and that fetus to become a person.
Yeah. So if you say that you're against it, then you would be.
Look,
What?
no, see, my whole thing is there shouldn't have to be a plan B. Just don't have sex, have protected
But that's
sex.
not the question.
Very true. Very
That's not
true.
the question,
Good answer.
bro.
That's a
Not
good answer.
everyone's going. Not everyone is going to follow that. We have to be realistic here.
This is very realistic. I mean, that's the facts.
No, it's not, bro.
Not everyone-
You're gonna expect everyone to not have sex, like, bro. Come on.
I know, but
No,
I'm
yeah.
just saying that's true. But I'm saying if you're gonna have sex, you do know that there's very big consequences
That's
that
why
can come
people
with it.
use
If you're
contraceptives
not
like
safe.
condoms and Plan B, so they
Well,
don't get pregnant.
Exactly. So
Are
have
you
safe
against-
sex, and you
are
won't
you
have to worry
against
about it.
contraceptives? We're asking for against safe sex because you say that a sperm cell or a fetus has the potential to be a person. So does
Okay.
a sperm cell entering someone's urethra. So we're asking if you're against safe sex, basically.
Well, if you have safe sex, that's not a realistic question.
No,
Bro.
the point is, the question is, are you against having protection during sex because that obstructs the chance of having a kid, of having that sperm cell when you ejaculate has the chance of becoming a fetus. You ejaculate
True.
into a woman, right? That
Mhm.
has the chance of becoming a person. But we're asking
Not if you have safe sex.
But that's the
Exactly.
point. Are you opposed to safe sex? Because you're
No, not at all. I think if you want to have safe sex, you can't have safe sex.
There you go. Thank you. Oh my fucking
yourself.
No, that's not going
Doesn't
against me at
matter.
all, though. Me
No, so
saying
then, yes, it does.
safe sex. Can you explain why?
Because okay, so your argument was that potential. You said the fetus has potential to become a person. So does a sperm cell when you leave someone's body. That has the potential to become a person. If you ejaculate into a woman, your argument against abortion was that it has the potential to be the potential argument. So then you should be against safe sex because that also has the potential to become a person.
Here's my thing. I think it's a totally different thing if they're already in the womb as a fetus versus had sex, they wanted to get Plan B. That's totally different from already being pregnant. Because we're not going to an abortion center like Planned Parenthood. So that's an unrealistic question that you provided.
Well, Plan B is an abortion. The Plan B is an abortion. It's just a really early one.
Yeah, there's two pills, right? There's an abortion pill and there's a Plan B pill. The abortion pill is when you're already pregnant. The Plan B pill is before you're pregnant, before conception.
Yeah, I've known people who've taken it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So are you against it or for it? Do you think it's okay to take the Plan B pill?
Just that simple.
Mel's talking. What Mel?
I said, I mean, it's just so.
Mel, turn your speaker on.
Plan. Huh?
Is your speaker on?
No, for some reason you making like this little noise or something.
Okay, but yeah.
No, we cannot hear you.
Yeah, bro, turn your speaker on.
I was like, hey, I hear me now.
I could, but I
There
don't
you
think
go.
him.
I can hear him.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, what were you saying, Mel?
So like basically I was saying like I don't believe there should have to be a Plan B realistically. Like realistically, if you don't get pregnant, just don't have sex or have protected sex.
Okay, so if you don't want to get into a car crash, don't have a car or don't drive a car.
That's very unrealistic comparison.
It's the same. Your logic.
That's
Well,
literally your
let me tell you.
argument.
Let me say why though. Let me say why. That's like saying, well, if you pass your driver's test and you're a good driver, you don't have to worry about that. It's the same as if you're a good person. If you're good at sex and you know how to have safe sex, it's the same thing, man.
It's the exact
point
same
of contraceptives. Oh my goodness.
William, it's
Not
the
true
exact
at all.
same thing. Getting a driver's
No.
license means you're
Not at all.
legally allowed to drive. When you reach legal age of consent, you're legally allowed to have sex. It's the exact same argument.
Yeah, but if you're a good driver and you're having safe sex, there you go. Answer right there.
So you're against safe sex, or I mean, you're for safe sex, right? So you're
correct.
I mean, like legally allowed to buy
Bro,
Yeah,
what I'm
your
saying
argument against
is
potential is invalid because you're only
you're not getting what I'm saying at all.
No, William, we're getting what you're saying exactly. If you're for safe sex, then you don't care about the potential of what sex
It's
could
not
bring.
true. I'm saying if they're already pregnant versus if they're not. That's my point.
But the
Bro,
thing with safe sex is you could get them pregnant.
No, because if they're having sex with safe sex without getting pregnant, that's totally different than already being pregnant and
because
you're deciding
you
if you want an
still, a
abortion or not.
sperm cell still has the potential to get someone pregnant. You're arguing potential. We're telling you why potential doesn't matter.
Yeah,
So you're basically saying. So I have a question. Do you think that if I'm pro-life, I can't support someone or like me having sex right now without wanting to get someone
no, of
pregnant?
course you can. But William, we're saying your argument about potential is invalid because you don't actually care about the potential of something. You don't care about
That's
the
not true at all.
Yes, you William, you just said you support safe sex.
But it's not a fetus
You
yet.
don't care about the potential of that sperm cell. If you're not having safe sex, that sperm cell will turn into a person if it reaches the egg.
Dude, that's like me
the
saying,
potential argument.
bro,
it has the potential to do that.
dog,
So
that's like
the
me.
fetus has the potential to become a person.
Let me rebuttal. That's like me saying I masturbated, right? But I didn't do it in a woman, so I just ruined the chance of this sperm cell ever being.
That's
And
not.
I should have come inside of a woman instead.
Potential doesn't matter. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, what we're trying to prove to you is that the reason potential doesn't matter is because of this. It doesn't correlate. You even agreed with us that safe sex is okay, which contradicts your entire argument of potential.
That's not true at all.
How is it not true?
So you don't believe there's any potential success for these people is what you're saying.
No. We're saying we don't care about potential.
That's my point.
No, your point is saying that when it's okay, it's not okay to abort a fetus because the brain is still developing, and you should let the brain develop, right? That's what you're saying, right? You're saying that it's going to be a good person. You're arguing potential. That's potential.
I don't know. I just believe that they have a. I just believe however their life will be, they deserve to be birthed. It's not their fault that they got.
It has the potential to be a person, right? That's your argument. Is that it has the
just
potential
overall, not even if they're good, even if just being born. Yes.
It has the potential to have a life, right? That's
just to live, just to breathe air. Yes.
Yeah, it has the potential to have that.
Correct.
So you can't support safe sex because that sperm also has the potential to have the same thing as that fetus. It also has the potential to develop into a fetus, which will then develop into a person.
Wrong.
No,
wait, Mel's talking.
Biology. You're debating biology.
I'm so done. I am actually.
The sperm cell, when entering a woman without any contraceptives, has the potential to become a fetus, which then, according to you, has the potential to become a person. So if you think that the potential to become a person is the reason we shouldn't abort something, then you think that contraceptives are morally wrong because that sperm cell has the potential to become a person.
Wrong.
What is
That's
wrong
your whole argument.
That's not true at all because look, here's the facts. Quite frankly, one is not even in a fetus. It's not a fetus yet, so that's not a good comparison. It's not
you were
has that
arguing
potential yet, my
That's
friend.
what they're saying.
We're saying that since it has the potential to be a fetus, that you should be what's it called? That you should be opposed to safe sex because it's morally consistent. You're not being morally consistent right now.
Not true. Because if they don't want consent to pregnancy, then safe sex.
So y'all are
So what's your point, bro? If you want consent to safe driving, wear a seatbelt.
Okay, so William. So the potential of a human doesn't matter.
So wait, Mel.
So if a fetus has the potential to become a person, that doesn't matter because the sperm cell has the potential to also become a person. But you don't care about that. So then why would a fetus matter? Why does it matter if a fetus is...
You're going against yourself right now because you just said that they could be a potential murder, which is why we should abort them, is basically what you said.
That was just no.
Why we should abort them? I just arguing
That's
the
not the
potential
argument.
That's the argument you made. You're saying that they have the potential to be a cure for cancer or whatever.
So what's your point? You basically said they could be murdered, so that's your point.
No, that was just a rebuttal claiming that doesn't make sense because they could also be a murderer.
Well, basically, I think if they're pregnant, they should have the baby. If they don't want it, you can give it up for adoption. But if you're not pregnant yet, then I don't understand. Of course you can have safe sex.
Bro, what we're saying is
so
the sperm cell when you get when oh my god, when a man nuts inside a woman. All right? Are you following along? Are you following along?
All I heard was nuts and then inside. You kind of cut
Okay.
off after that.
When a man nuts inside a woman, the potential of that sperm cell is to be a fetus or a baby, right?
But it's not a fetus yet, so I don't understand. That's not a good. That's a terrible point because it's not a fetus. It's not a fetus. You're doing it invaluable,
Oh my
irrelevant.
god, I
Hold on,
can't
bro.
with you, bro. I can't.
I can't with you, bro. 'Cause you're not doing a relevant argument, bro.
Whoa!
Okay.
William, how old are you? How old are you?
Unreal, unreal,
How old are you?
unreal,
William.
unreal.
How old are you, William?
19 years old.
Oh my god. You're 6 years older than me, and you're this
Oh my goodness. Okay, William. Let me explain this one more time in simple terms. Life is a fetus, right? A fetus is alive.
And what you're saying is it's not a fetus yet, so
No,
invalidate.
that's our argument. Our argument is that you're saying that because the fetus is alive, it's that life has a potential to become a meaningful life.
Even if it's not meaningful, I support it.
What? Yeah. So okay. So yes, if it has no meaning, then you support it. So that means you support abortion.
No, they don't. Because I'm saying even if it doesn't have a greater meaning, even if it has a bad meaning in life, I think it should still be birth. It's their choice, and it should be.
I feel like the odds of someone being born.
Wait, Mel's going. Hold on, let him talk.
Go.
Mel, go.
Y'all are like butting up a little bit.
Bro, William has to be satire. There's no way.
No, you're not. You're
Exactly.
Dude, okay, no, this is what I'm confused about. You're saying that basically I'm incorrect because it's not a fetus yet, so it has no purpose that you should not be able to have. You're saying that pro-life.
Honestly, William, at this point, you're just twisting their words.
No, because you're saying pro-lifers can't support safe sex. That's basically what you're saying. You're saying I can't have safe sex.
No. We're saying that your argument of what's it called? I'm forgetting the word now. I've said it.
Of it having a good cure for cancer.
Plan B's.
Possibility, pretty much.
But so you don't agree with that?
No, I'm saying you can't support safe sex if that's your argument. It has the possibility to become.
Well, that's not my main argument at all. No.
Okay, so then but that was Mel's argument. Is that it has the possibility to become a person?
Yeah. Okay.
It's not developed enough. It has the developmental possibility to become a person. That is your argument. And if that is your argument, then you cannot support safe sex because that has a developmental possibility to also become a person.
Not at all.
Guys, I think we need a monkey explains for this.
No, because it's not pregnant.
I got
Listen, if the person's not pregnant, I don't care. Here's my point. The person's not pregnant.
William, let Wally do the monkey explains for you, so you could just understand it a bit.
No.
Okay, so one monkey says that he supports abortion because you don't know what it could turn out to. Baby monkey, you don't know what that baby monkey could turn out to. But other monkey who's pro-choice says that you can't support that because if you ejaculate outside of a woman or use a plan B that removes the nut out from impregnating that woman, it's basically a contradiction since you are basically saying that you're okay with contraceptive pills that remove the monkey nut from the female.
It prevents pregnancy.
So you're removing the chance of that from that nut in order to become a child.
There's a big difference because one is pregnant, one's not. And even if they
oh my god,
they should still be birthed. No matter what, they should still be birthed. No, I don't care. Even your point, even if they're murdered, I don't care. Even if they're murdered, let them be birthed.
Listen to me, William. If something has the possibility to become pregnant, and in your eyes, if it's pregnant, it automatically has 40 value. If it's pregnant, it has a pregnant person's fetus has the possibility to become valuable. So if you have the possibility to make something possible of value, then you can't support the
Bro, do you realize I'm not?
Okay. I think I need to draw this out for him, right?
No. You realize that's not my main argument, though. That was literally an example.
Listen. I need to draw this out for you on like a pen and pencil. All right, hold on. Let me turn on my lights.
Honestly, William, at this point, you have to be satire.
Literally, that's not my point of abortion or not.
Okay. Can you see this, right? You see this, right? You see this, right? Okay.
No, it's blurry as hell.
Okay.
No, I can see. No, I can't see that at all.
You can't see the pen and pencil, or like the.
No, I can see the pen and pencil, just not clearly. It's like blurry.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, but look, right here. This is your argument. A fetus should be valued because they have the potential to be a baby, right? That's your argument.
Nope.
So what is your argument?
That's always an example. That's what I was trying to say. That's not my argument at all. That was an example I was just saying. I know there's a bad outcome, but a good outcome.
No,
that's what I've been trying to say. Like, you guys think that's my only argument. That's not even my argument at all.
Oh my God, your argument is potential, bro.
No, that was an example of potentiality. I know that it could also be a murder. That
then if you're pulling that example, that means your argument is potential.
Well, it could be potentially a terrible person, or it could be a good person. Correct? Yes, I agree with that.
Literally
that's not my main argument at all.
One sentence.
I didn't. That wasn't my argument. That's what I'm saying.
Can you explain to me your argument? Can you explain to me your main argument, please?
Yes, very easily. Basically, I morally think it's wrong to kill a human, no matter how it turns out to be. I think it should have a life and be birthed. I think that we can't speak for it. If you're pregnant and if you don't want it, you can give it up to abortion. There's many ways, but I believe that. Same with Planned Parenthood. I think they're very evil corporation.
Okay,
that's basically what I'm saying. I don't support. I'm pro-life.
I thought we were past this, bro. Okay. So why do you think? So you're saying because it's a life, it's valuable, right? That's what you're saying.
Because it's a human life. But what gives human life value?
But I never agreed with Plan B.
Okay, but William, why is a human more valuable? Why is a human more valuable than anything else? Why is a human life more valuable?
Because if you have moral values, you would understand that you're not going to just kill an innocent little kid. It's literally something that it deserves life. You can't speak for it. It's unspoken for. You're shedding blood because you're shedding blood on an innocent little baby who has nothing to do with why the person got pregnant.
But William,
it's going to be born as a baby. That's my point exactly.
So is it morally wrong to kill a baby deer because it's a baby?
No, that's not even a good example at all. Because it's not in the womb. If it's in the womb, of course it's wrong. It's not in the womb.
What gives a human life? Why is a human life more valuable than a deer life? Why?
Dude, we went through this already.
No, but you explained why. You said it has morals, right? You said
humans have superiority over an animal.
But why?
We run society.
Okay. Why? Yeah, so what
do animals run society, bro?
An advanced consciousness gives us that ability, right? That is what gives us the ability to do that.
In order to run a society, you need an advanced consciousness, right? One that's higher of an animal's, right?
It does not have the superiority over an animal because it does not have that advanced consciousness yet. It's not developed that. Meaning it does not have the superiority or the value over an animal. Meaning if we value an animal life as nothing more than food or something we can easily kill with no moral wrong. And we can
not true because things being born as a human being. It's being born as a human. Bro. That's my whole point.
How is the fetus?
Bro, I understand it's not born yet, but it's still at conception, and then when it gets birthed, I think you should let it be birthed. That's my point.
But it's not born yet.
Exactly, but I'm saying it should be, and you're saying it shouldn't.
Why should it?
Because it is going to be
That's potential. Thank you. That's potential because it's going to be, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I don't think you should kill it because it's going to be a human life. It is a human life. It's a conception. It's a living thing, and when you abort it, it feels the pain. It already is a human. It feels the pain when you're killing it. So
no, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Third trimester. I don't support abortions up until then because that's when it feels pain. It has some sort of personhood.
When you abort it,
how do you know that
pain receptors? It has nerves, but its pain receptors are not connected to the brain until the third trimester. Meaning it does not feel.
And do you support that?
You can feel stuff, but it doesn't.
Do you support it?
No, as soon as it feels pain, it has some sort of personhood. I think I still think we should be able to kill it because it has no consciousness. It doesn't know it's being killed. I think that in situations.
Okay.
So do you think that your parents should have?
Okay, so
killed
that's
your
the only.
No, William. My parents shouldn't have killed me because they wanted me. I'm saying in the point of some parents cannot afford their child.
Then give it up for adoption. Not that hard. Give it up for adoption.
Some people don't want to go through the stress
Well,
of
then
having
then you shouldn't have had sex in the first
Selfish.
place.
That does not.
Okay, let's go back to the roots of it, right? What is wrong with killing a fetus? That's what we're telling you. You said it's because it's going to be a baby, right? It's going to be a born, living baby. That's what you said, right? That's what you think it's wrong.
Well, it's gonna be a human being.
The whole thing
have
is
the right to kill somebody. It's murder.
Okay, exactly.
It's
We're
murder. I
saying
don't support it because it is
an
murder.
animal.
we're saying we
Fine,
don't.
bro.
For a human, not an animal. I don't care about
Hey,
animals.
bro,
No,
I'm talking
we're
about
just trying to use an animal as a
animals. Not a
comparison.
comparison, though, bro.
Yes, it.
And you know we're never gonna
3South.
get past that.
William,
Just use the centrist view argument and get this over with.
William, I'm gonna show you my. Okay, I'm gonna show you my paper, right? You can see this, right? Okay, so a human, right? It has more value than an animal because it's better, right? It has more. It has a advanced consciousness. But a fetus is an undeveloped human, right? And so okay. So let me draw like a graph right now. So a human is here, and then there's like animals down here, and then like bacteria and stuff that has like no consciousness really.
Your hair is in
Baby's
there.
not bacteria.
I'm not saying they are. I'm just giving
That
an
doesn't
example.
justify
This is
it.
kind of like
Not a good example.
Because the
This is
bacteria is still alive. That's why.
So you justify murder,
This is
basically.
the tier of life. I'm not saying that, William. Let me finish. This is the tier of life. So it's humans, animals. I don't know if you can really see this. Let me get a marker.
I can't know.
It's a little bit blurry.
It looks like
Okay,
H.
humans right there.
Humans. I'll show A, B, and C. So animals, bacteria, and cells. A human is a fully developed human, but a fetus has the cognitive ability of about a baby animal, right? So a fetus is here in cognitive ability. It's the same as an animal. So why is it morally wrong to kill something that is the exact same cognitive ability as an animal, which, as you said, is less superior than a human? Why would that be morally wrong?
Because it's going to be a human being, not an animal. And
Okay,
at conception,
potential.
you have, and when it gets
So
to
now
conception, you got
let
to
me
keep it.
debunk the potential argument. Let me debunk the potential argument. Okay, so these are the three steps, right? It's what's it called? So let's just say the sperm goes to the egg, and the egg goes to a fetus, and the fetus goes to a person, right? We agree that's how it goes?
Repeat that. I wasn't paying attention.
Sperm, egg, fetus, person, right? That's how we agree.
All right.
All right. So the sperm, in turn, the sperm is what starts the process to a person. So you're saying it's morally wrong because we're obstructing the ability for a fetus to turn into a person. But the sperm is the starting factor into a person. So you're arguably saying that. So the point is that the possibility argument doesn't matter because if you support contraceptives, you're supporting the ending of this part. So the sperm has no opportunity to even become the starting factors into a person, right? So you're obstructing the ability for something to turn into a living person because you say it's morally wrong to make a fetus into a person. It's morally wrong to obstruct a fetus into a person, right? That's your argument.
My argument is
Stopping a sperm cell and stopping the fetus into becoming a person are both the same thing.
Because you're stopping the development of a person by supporting contraceptives.
you're murdering.
You're stopping the development of a person, no matter what stage it's at. If you support the stopping of a fetus to a person, then you should also, or if you don't support that, then you should also not support the stopping of a sperm to an egg, and then the egg to a fetus.
I don't support Plan B though. That's the thing.
You just said you supported safe sex.
No. I said I support safe sex.
Safe sex is Plan B. That's a
I'm talking about
contraceptive.
condoms, my man.
This is a condom, right? This is a condom.
Like condoms and Plan Bs.
It's not going anywhere. You're stopping the sperm from becoming then a person.
No, because it's here's literally my only point. She's not pregnant yet. I'm saying if it's already a fetus, I don't think you should. Morally, I believe you shouldn't abort it. But if it's not if they're not pregnant yet, that's an unrealistic comparison.
No, William,
They're
it's
not pregnant.
Your argument,
It
your
is.
argument is that we should stop the development of something. We should not be able to stop the development of something that will eventually develop into a person.
But it wasn't being developed in the first place because they never got it to go
No,
inside.
you're stopping the
The
initial
cum
development.
never went inside, so it's not.
That's the point. Is you're stopping the development. You're stopping the initial start of a development into a person. You're saying that is a sexual development.
I'm saying that the person's already pregnant. But if they had sex with a condom,
development,
Bro,
that becomes.
You realize that potential still applies?
no, I mean potential life for the person, bro.
Yes,
It's not even a life because it's not pregnant. I'm talking about pregnancy, bro.
That is your argument.
William, I'm convinced you're either satire or you just snorted at least 3 pounds of crack.
William, let me explain your argument one more time for you. Let me turn off my camera. Okay, so your argument in more.
It's never gonna work.
You can't explain this. You're not very smart. Okay, so you are opposed to the obstruction of something developing into a person, the fetus developing into a person, or some stage of birth or of life developing into a person. You are against the obstruction of that. Oh, he left. Oh no, he didn't leave. Okay, so you're against the obstruction of that, correct?
You have to be yourself.
You're against the obstruction of a fetus or another part, a human life turning into a person. You're against the obstruction of that, right?
I'm not sure if your brain can handle this, but I'm against if the person's already pregnant
But dude,
and
you
aborting.
realize that-
But if they're not pregnant and they're having sex and nothing happened, that's okay.
Bro, being pregnant and being not pregnant
But
are
that's
two
what we're
Bro,
saying.
that's my literal
Y'all
point.
literally
You don't
are-
understand.
no thing. Y'all
William,
are trying
that's
to
what I'm saying.
twist
The
the
possibility
word.
argument is flawed because you can't
Y'all
say.
are trying to twist the
William,
I'm
word.
not talking
Let me
about a
talk.
possibility, bro.
Let me speak.
Like,
You're
bro,
saying. No, your argument just said that because the fetus has a possibility to become a person and as a possibility.
No, it's a reality, not a possibility, because it's gonna be birthed.
Yes,
it's
it
growing,
has to,
and it's gonna be a human.
It will develop into a person.
Exactly.
Because the fetus will develop into a person with advanced cognitive ability, that it should not be obstructed. That development should not be obstructed.
I'm saying if it's not,
why is it okay to obstruct the development of a sperm cell into the fetus that will then?
Because it's not going to be, because they're not pregnant and nothing happened. No baby was being formed. Because no baby was formed and there's no pregnancy. That's why. My difference is if the baby's already in there versus there's not. No, it's not. Not at all.
That sperm has the possibility of becoming a person. That sperm has a reality of becoming a person.
It's no, it isn't, because they had safe sex, which prevented that. So therefore, no possibility at all, because they did safe sex. Just like a cart, just like driving.
Thank you, William. So you're saying that the possibility the sperm cell has to become a fetus doesn't matter because they had safe sex. They obstructed it. They obstructed the possibility of a sperm cell becoming a person. So you're saying it's okay to obstruct possibility.
So therefore, your
it's okay to have safe sex to prevent pregnancy, brother. I'm saying it's okay to prevent pregnancy.
Yes, and that pregnancy is the.
But abortion is not preventing; it's killing a pregnancy. But abortion, abortion is killing pregnancy, not preventing.
Abortion is ending a pregnancy. Same with safe sex is ending a possible pregnancy.
It's preventing, not ending.
Ending a pregnancy.
But it never started to begin with. The pregnancy never started to begin with.
Bro, why does that matter? Wait.
Because I could bro. I don't care about the sperm, but I'm saying if the sperm went inside and it went in, and it's being formed to a baby, that's when I care. But if not, then no. If it's not going to be turned to a baby, then no.
The double standard here is crazy. Oh
How so?
So ignorant,
bro. Okay,
no, you're being ignorant as fuck because you're not listening to me.
Mel, what were you saying, Mel?
Mel, what?
I'm just saying, like, if sperm ever get out, y'all points are kind of just dumb, and like I'm starting to think that y'all are slow.
Bro,
you are being ignorant as hell.
Okay. Let me explain this one more time for you.
So ignorant, man.
William, you have no idea what you're even saying anymore.
Yeah, I do. You have no idea what you're saying because you're going in loopholes, denying what I'm saying.
William. Okay. So your argument. Can I ask if you agree with this? Your argument is that a fetus has the possibility to develop into
because it's in the womb developing. What?
Yes, but you're obstructing. Okay. So listen. This is how pregnancy works. A sperm cell enters the womb and it develops into a fertilized egg by entering the egg. That is the first stage of development. You are there by obstructing development. You are obstructing development by closing off the option.
It was never developed in the first place if it was safe sex.
William, you don't understand.
It's slow. Your brain's not big enough for this. I know
goodness,
your brain's
William,
not big
you
enough.
cannot be
you're
talking.
it was never developing if it never got
Yes,
out.
that's the point. Is you're stopping development. You are stopping development. Do you realize development?
No, it never developed to begin with.
William,
Bro. Okay,
Development was never
can I explain?
Brother.
William, shut up. You don't need to already be developing to have development. Development starts somewhere, and that is originally called development. It has to start somewhere.
Which is when the cum goes in the vagina, which it didn't in safe sex because you wore a condom. My point
It
exactly.
still goes in, and you're still ejaculating. And
It goes in the condom.
Obstructing. Yeah, exactly.
Obstructing it in the condom. That's the development. It's developing in the condom, not the pussy.
No, William. In order to develop, a sperm cell has to reach the egg, and that is how a person starts. You are saying that you are only against the creation of a person if that person. You're saying you're against the obstruction of the creation of a person, right? That's what you're against.
But there's no creation being started if you have safe sex. There's no creation being started.
Exactly. Which means that you can't use the possibility arguments because the possibility of a fetus becoming a person hasn't happened yet. It hasn't become.
I don't give a living shit about the possibility argument.
You just made that fucking argument.
That was just an example, bro.
No, that was your argument.
You
guys are
said
your
main argument.
I said it from the first, bro. It was from Planned Parenthood and from moral beliefs, religious beliefs. That's my personal belief that I don't think you should abort. That's literally it. And because of Planned Parenthood and the history behind it. That's my full, truthful belief.
Bro, okay, then how did we get to this?
Bro, literally, just look up the history behind Planned Parenthood.
I know, we agree with you. We don't care, though. We don't care because it's not like that
I know
anymore.
you don't. That's why you're bringing up an example I brought over my argument. You did over my argument. No. Can I please explain that? Can I please
read the
rebuttal
verses
that?
before
Please let me
that?
rebuttal that.
He was talking about breathing life into Adam. Try again.
Yes. So pretty much, Adam was the first human to ever be created. No birth, anything. God literally breathed life in him to exist, and then his first breath was from God. That's how it happened. It wasn't from any type of pregnancy.
Either way, you can't use religion.
I can. That's my free. That's my.
Wait,
You just said you wouldn't.
Unless I'm a politician, and I'm trying to ban abortion for religious reasons, then you're correct, because church and state. But as a human, as a private citizen, and my religious beliefs, I am allowed to say, well, morally.
Guys, let me handle this one. But in the Bible, I don't know what part of it this is, but I know for a fact there is a verse that says, if woman sleeps with a man that is not her husband, that husband is allowed to give her snake poison, which if she cheated on him, the baby would come out, therefore committing an abortion. But if it doesn't, that means she's telling the truth and did not sleep with someone.
No, that's the law of Moses. The law of Moses doesn't exist anymore. That's Old Testament. Old Testament doesn't apply to us.
Okay.
William.
And can you send me the verse so I can actually understand what you mean? Oh, Mel's talking. I can't hear him though.
Yeah, Mel, we can't hear you, man.
Bro, can you turn your speaker?
Your mic is like.
Yeah, bro. It's because you don't have your speaker on. Turn your speaker on. Next to the hang up button.
Bro, so can y'all hear me now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so the thing I was saying was, is that verse in Psalms, because a lot of Psalms verses are taken out of context.
There's a huge historical context behind it, and it's probably under the law of Moses.
Okay, William.
Go ahead.
So you agree that killing babies is wrong, right?
Yes.
Okay, no matter who does it, no matter what the situation is, it's wrong, is what you're saying, right?
If it's already a fetus, yes. If it's already pregnant.
Yeah, okay. So do you think it was okay for God to kill the babies in Egypt to free the Israeli slaves?
Well, what verses are you talking about?
It was during the Passover in Exodus 11 through 12.
Let me check. But it is.
Can I read you the verse? The heartless Pharaoh still refused to free the Israeli slaves, so God brought about one last plague, which was so terrible that it was current to persuade Pharaoh to let his slaves go. That night, God sent the angel of death to kill the firstborn sons of the Egyptians. Do you think he's literally saying that God sent someone to kill the firstborn sons of the Egyptians?
The Lord literally says he hates those who shed innocent blood, and yet you shall not murder, and murder is murdering a baby.
And he sent someone to murder a baby.
Well,
No.
God is not the same standard as us. He can do whatever he wants. He's God. We can't. We're
Wait,
under
you
his
just
rule.
said that no matter
No.
who does it, no matter what situation it is,
No,
it's
no, no.
bad.
I need
That's
to
what
know
you
what,
just
I
said.
literally need the verse. Just tell me the verse and I can,
I told
I
you
just need the
Exodus
verse.
11 through 12. I can send the link
Okay,
actually.
Exodus. No, I got it. Let's just.
Firstborn means their first child.
They're
Yeah.
still a
Firstborn-
fucking toddler or a baby. It doesn't
Oh,
matter.
yeah, it was already born. Is that what you're trying to say?
Firstborn
Yeah, it was already born. Which is
So
even
that's not the same thing.
bro.
Firstborn
Because it's not
We're not
killed in
talking.
it's not
No,
killed in the womb.
I
I'm
asked
talking about
you,
abortion, bro.
bro. We're saying a baby. I told you baby, not a fetus.
You
Bro.
said toddler. Now you're saying toddler.
Because bro,
That's
the
basically
first
a little bit older than a
are
baby.
firstborns not baby toddlers? Like toddler and baby is
No,
basically the same thing, bro.
Toddlers are
Bro,
like around 4.
bro,
They're not really a baby.
Okay,
firstborn
but
are
it's
the
still
first
bad
child.
either way. Do you think it's okay for God to kill children like that?
God can do whatever he wants. I'm not his judge, but I need to understand. I'm trying to
Bro.
figure out what the meaning behind it.
So you're saying,
I found sources.
you're saying that killing a baby is okay if there's a reason and someone has a higher power, right? So
No,
you just
I'm
said
not
that
saying that at all. I'm saying I'm trying to understand the verse before I can go that because I'm not going to speak falsely.
you have never heard the story that God sent the plagues onto Egypt. Like there was
Yeah,
like the plagues.
he's God. He can do
Also,
it.
right? Also,
Let Mel speak. Though.
2 Corinthians 11:14. And no wonder, for even Satan disguises himself as the angel of light. So in this case, Satan could be disguising himself as God.
He does all the time. Yeah, he's a god of this world. The Bible says Satan is the god of this
I'm
world.
probably finna go out.
So
Yeah, Satan's the god of this world.
bro,
Either way, why?
This really said
Because if you live for the world, you live for Satan.
you're supporting the God that's killing babies, bro.
No, not at all. You didn't say that.
Dude, it literally says in the fucking Bible. I gave you the verse. I gave you the link. It says
2 Corinthians 11:14 does not say that at
Bro,
all.
how about you
Wait,
read
let
it
Mel talk. He's trying to say something. Let him speak.
it's literally on Bible Hub.
in context? You're talking about killing babies and children. How do you even know if the firstborn were children?
True.
His firstborn, not a child.
Bro,
You support a
That
God
means
that
the firstborn
ends
child.
people's life. You support a God that ends people's life. Doesn't matter how old they are.
bro, he's God.
Okay. The definition of firstborn is of a person's child, the first to be born.
Hey guys, hold up. I don't want to interrupt you,
Exactly.
but I have
That's
to
exactly
answer
what
this
I
call real quick.
said. It's-
I'll be right back, okay? Hey, I'll be right back. I have to answer this call, okay?
Okay.
Bro, that's exactly what I just said.
Of a person's child.
That's what I just said.
So you think it's okay for them to kill him?
Bro, to a parent, that is their child. That doesn't really mean that it's a child.
Okay. But killing anyone. Do you think it's okay for God
Bro,
to do?
he has all power and domain.
Okay,
just
so
that
because
simple.
God, because the same Bible that's telling you God is killing all these people, you're gonna trust that Bible that's saying that he's killing all these people and doing all this horrible stuff. You're gonna say that because the Bible says so, it says it's okay for God to do it. You're gonna believe it.
God, do you not understand the meaning of God? He is higher than us.
I'm pretty sure there was a verse somewhere where it says that like we're the same as God.
No.
Where? Please show me. Please.
Yeah, I'm curious what you said about that.
Please. I know that's probably about to be a verse in Psalm. I can put $20 on that's about to be a Psalm.
You've never
Remember, like
learned about
Hyper Humanity showed the verse somewhere.
You've never heard the story that God put the plagues on Egypt to free the Jewish slaves? You've never heard that?
Yes, I have.
So you support a God that one of the plagues was literally killing the firstborn.
I don't think you understand what it
not get
means.
the
Christian, I know this.
I know
He's
atheists always
higher.
say they know the Bible, but they haven't even read a whole chapter in their life. So you're just going on Google and looking up.
I know
I used to be Catholic. I literally read the Bible. What are you fucking talking about?
No, you don't have the Holy Spirit to understand it, though. That's the difference.
Dude, you don't know
literally just stay on
development works. Please stop talking. You don't know how
I have morals unlike you. I don't smoke.
I don't smoke.
I don't know how what?
Then that's a God logic, buddy.
What?
Because you said I smoke. That's not true.
When did I say you smoked? I said you don't have a big enough brain.
You just said stop smoking. There you go.
I didn't say that.
Oh my gosh, bro. Yes, you did.
Bro, I mean,
Talking.
You
bro,
said
I mean,
stop
you're-
smoking, bro.
I said stop talking.
Like, bro, you gotta
You
be.
know what you know what talking is? What you're
You said smoking. You said smoking.
Oh my goodness. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter, William. I didn't say that. You can go ahead and believe you.
Look, on cocaine or something. But keep going. What were you saying? You said that it's a Bible that says that we are like God.
No,
Yes.
I heard a verse. I can't find it right now because I don't know the exact what's it called, the exact
Yeah.
like verse of where is located. But I'm not gonna use that as an argument because I can't find it. So yeah, don't worry.
I think you're talking about Genesis 1:26, where it says, "We know that when he appears, we will be like him because we will see him just as he is." He means to be like Jesus, like to try to be righteous.
That doesn't mean
He's saying
that
if
we're
you're like his child, you'll try to be like him every day.
Bro,
Oh, so
I think that's what you're talking about.
So you give to the poor. You give to the poor. You give a ton of money to the poor. That's what Jesus did.
Name one verse. Name one verse that said he actually didn't care about money. Money wasn't that.
I didn't say money. I said give to the poor. That doesn't solely mean money.
I have given to the poor, but I don't speak of that because I don't like bragging about anything like that.
Yeah, true.
I mean, of course, I believe helping the poor. What's wrong about that?
helping.
So you support capitalism. Capitalism doesn't.
Yeah, capitalism helps the poor, not socialism. Socialism makes everyone just as poor because you have an equal opportunity to be successful. You can strive to be a millionaire.
No, you don't.
Okay, guys, let's not get into capitalism versus socialism again because we're
Yeah,
gonna focus on abortion.
Yeah, true.
But okay, fine.
Okay, so where were we? We were talking
We're
about
talking about Bible verses.
Bible verse. Okay, yeah.
But I think you said you wanted to state something other than that. You said that wasn't your argument.
Yeah, you said something about
What's it called? Well, back to the Passover thing, right? How do you justify that? How do you justify God killing innocent people?
I mean, he's God higher than.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
not
so
that hard
you
to understand.
so you think it's okay for someone else to kill someone else because they're in a higher
Bro.
position, right?
I can use that same argument with you and a mother fetus.
Yeah, a mother of the fetus has higher power than the fetus, therefore the mother can kill it.
No, we shouldn't even have them.
Well, then I can use that same argument with you, with God and him.
No, I'm just using your logic. I don't actually think that. You actually think that. I'm just saying that could be used to justify abortion.
Yeah.
Because you're saying that because God has a higher power, he's able to kill anyone he wants. That's what you're saying. And that it's moral to do. So using your logic, it would be also moral to have an abortion because in this case,
I know the meaning of God. Bro, one quick Google search can literally just end all of this. One quick Google search.
okay, what's the one quick verse?
Of God.
Hello?
Oh, hello.
You talking to me or who?
Yeah, I don't know. You just said one quick Google search. That's all I heard.
Plus, bro, God is not all loving all the time. Just know that.
Wait, in the Bible
He's
says that God is
loving and merciful, but he's also wrath.
There's another side to God. He has a
mad side.
Bro, God literally has a side of judgment, wrath, and the fact that he hates sin.
Yeah,
hating is a sin in itself, isn't it?
But God has a right to hate people.
Okay, why?
Because he created you, and if you go against him that much.
Okay, there we go. Exactly. The mother created you, therefore she can do whatever you want with you. There you go.
No, because she's not God. And God made because God, it says in the Bible, God forms.
But you're saying because God created you, he can do whatever he wants with you, right?
Well, I mean,
yeah, which is not of sin. He doesn't let you do what of sin. If it's of sin, it's of Satan.
God says if someone creates you, you can do whatever you want with them. A mother created that child, therefore she can do whatever she wants with them.
Lawfully, yes, you can. Yes, lawfully, but not that I agree with it. It should be changed very quickly.
Thank you for proving my point.
That didn't prove your point at all. No, we can't hear you, bro. You gotta put your speaker on. Can y'all hear Mel?
No, I don't know why.
Mel, you gotta turn your mic on.
So can you hear me now?
Barely.
Hello.
Hello.
How about
Bro, Mel, I'm sorry, but you're like lagging or something, man.
Yeah.
Like, try to turn your speaker on. I don't think you had your speaker on yet.
all right? So how about now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
But yeah, though. But like I was saying, like it actually takes the man's sperm to even initiate the pregnancy in the first place. So on that same topic, the man could actually do whatever he wants to kill the baby too.
Wait. Sorry. What?
I said since a man's sperm, the man can also do whatever he wants to that child.
No, but what's it called? The man isn't the one that created it. The woman is.
Are you talking about the baby, man?
Yeah. Yeah.
Neither woman.
Well, God formed them. I believe God made them for a purpose on earth, and that they are formed in the womb to be something for
This
God.
is so circular. Jesus.
But if they have this free will to not live for God,
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. You know what? Okay. You know what? Spectrify. This guy Spectrify right here. He wants to debate you on abortion. He's also pro-choice.
who
I
is
think maybe
Spectrify?
he'll use a different argument than me and Scope.
Hello?
Yeah. Hello, Spectre. You could debate him. I'm tired of debating this fucking guy, dude.
Sure.
Oh my
There's two
God.
approaches I could take, but one of them is funnier, so I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna assume that you want abortion to be illegal, correct?
Yep.
I don't.
Oh,
Who's talking? Mel, right?
oh yeah.
William Sharp, the guy.
William?
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
That was Mel,
So
not me.
why?
Wait, can you re-say what you said?
You believe abortion ought to be illegal, correct?
Yes. Well, I believe that there should only be abortion if the person got raped or if basically the mother is in a death situation.
Okay. So you're pro circumstance. Okay. So
In
why?
circumstances, yes.
Yeah. So why in cases where she wasn't raped does she have to keep the baby
Because
or
I
the
think she
fetus?
has.
Whatever. I don't care.
Well, because I think she has no reason. I mean, and the thing is, rape and death situations only bring up about like 3% of abortions, so it's not even that huge amount of abortions that would happen then. And I think that morally, in my opinion, in my moral views, and my religious beliefs, I don't support it. I think it's a sin. I think it's like ungodly. I think you're shedding
Okay.
innocent blood, basically.
Okay.
And I also think that I just think that if it was me in that situation, I wouldn't want to be aborted. So I
Okay.
basically want to stand
Three
up for
things.
them because they can't speak for them.
Three things. All right. For you saying it's immoral, or at least in your view, prove why your morals ought to be subjected onto each individual under the law. B, prove how that morality then transcends into legality. And then, as for it being against your religion, prove why your religion ought to be subjected to each individual. And then, for you saying, "Oh well, I wouldn't do it in that situation." Okay. And I don't care what you would do in this situation. It isn't you in this situation, is it?
Is it the baby's? Because it's not his choice. It should be someone speaking for him. Because you're pretty much saying
Yeah, but why do I
everyone's
value the
speaking for him.
fetus? Why do I care?
Because if you actually care for people, then you would support the baby being born. That's like, would you support your parents aborting you?
Yes.
That's not true at all. You would not want to be aborted.
Why not? How do you know that?
So would you want to die right now?
Yeah.
So you just
That's
think
not
that?
abortion. Abortion isn't killing a person.
I know that.
So
You never said that.
Yeah,
Just-
but
I
no.
said, wait,
Wait,
no, that's not what I
actually,
said.
why would I value anyone else's life but my own? Why do I care about anybody else?
Well, you don't have to. That's your freedom right to not have to. My freedom right is
No, but because you're imposing.
You're not.
You're saying that we ought to make abortion illegal. I'm asking you to provide me with why I ought to care for that fetus and ought to support the criminalization of abortion.
Well, if you care about life on Earth, if you care about someone having a future, and Planned Parenthood, which is
Ooh, future like ours? A future?
yeah, America is the place for the best future. What are you trying to? What's your point?
Okay, why do I care if anybody has a valuable future?
Sorry, what?
Why do I care if someone has a valuable future? Why do I care about other people's valuable futures?
You have the freedom to believe if you don't want to. That's your belief.
You simply saying I have the yes, I know I have the choice
I
to
have
believe
my
it,
belief
but the
and you say
burden of
otherwise.
proof. but the burden of proof falls on you to prove why I should care about it or why it
No, I
ought
don't
to
have
be
to prove anything.
illegal.
That's not true at all.
Wait. It absolutely is. You're the one pushing for. You're the one saying abortion ought to be illegal. I'm asking you to provide
And
me
you're
with
the one who's pushing
justification.
for it to stay legal. So, to your point, that's like saying
Oh,
freedom
no.
of speech.
No. I never
Yes,
said
yes,
it.
yes, 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 yes.
Whoa! I never made a claim.
Whoa.
I never made a claim. I simply asked you to provide reasoning for your claim.
And I
The
gave
burden
my
of proof
reasons. I
falls
gave
on
three, and then
you.
you just agreed with it. You just disagreed with what I said. I gave you three
No.
reasons. You
I
asked
asked
for
you to
three
warrant
reasons,
it
and then you
further,
said,
and you couldn't. I asked you to
yes, I
warrant
did.
it. Okay. So repeat it. Why abortion ought to be illegal? Why?
Okay, well, first off, Planned Parenthood was made by a white supremacist Democrat, a lady.
I don't
and
care.
Her plan was, that's your beliefs. Okay, you're okay. Why are you fucking asking me if you don't care? That's the whole point. If you're gonna ask me, you should fucking care.
Because
Wait.
Planned
How is
Parenthood
this
No, bro,
relevant?
this is
nothing
one
to
on
do
How
one.
with
is this
abortion.
relevant?
It's an abortion.
Planned Parenthood, the origins, hold up. How does the origins of Planned Parenthood mean that abortion is somehow immoral and ought to be illegal? How do you
Because it's driven by
bridge that gap?
racism. That's why. That's my personal belief. It's driven
Genetic
by
logical
Because abortion is
fallacy.
racist?
Yeah, it is. It was fun. It was driven through racism. That's the truth. You can
No,
fact
it
check me.
wasn't.
Yes, it was. It was made by a white. Planned Parenthood was made by a white supremacist.
I don't
Why
support
does
Planned Parenthood.
abortions matter?
I'm just an antinatalist.
Okay, so I don't like every time I give my reasonings and my personal beliefs, you're just gonna say I don't care. That's good for you. I don't.
Yeah.
Well,
Please
yeah,
let me
but
debate you.
no. But the burden of proof
Honestly,
falls
if
on
you're
you to
gonna
prove
say
why
that
I
on
should
here,
care.
I could basically say the
Bro,
Republican Party was
this is
formed
literally
by
like me
racists.
versus six fucking people.
Yeah, just let me talk. The burden of proof falls on you to show why I should care.
Here's my thing. I don't give a shit if you care or not. That's my belief. I don't give a shit.
What? Then why are you
My
belief is I
debating?
care,
Are
but
you
you
good,
know I'm
bro?
not
Then
gonna
why
fight
do
You're
about
you
it.
like,
believe
You
it's
have
still
huh?
illegal?
Bro goes,
This is
oh, well, that's your beliefs.
Listen, bro.
It's a debate. The point is you're supposed to
Yes.
support your beliefs.
I
Huh?
literally have, but you said you don't care, so obviously you don't want to debate. You said you don't give a
No,
shit, so
the point is
good
you
for
have to provide reasoning.
I just did, but you just say no. I don't give a shit. So that's your belief.
No, I'm
But you
okay. I should probably be a little more
Origins.
specific.
Origins
I should be
matter.
a little more specific, right?
Go
So
ahead.
you're saying abortion ought to be illegal because Planned Parenthood is racist.
No, I also provided because of my religious beliefs and because I think morally, without even God in it, it's wrong to murder a baby without
Okay.
it being birthed. I think that's just morally wrong. It's kind of like
Okay.
same like you think probably slavery is bad. Obviously, it is. The same thing I think with abortion.
Okay. All right. So now let's go through these 3 points, right? So for your first one, Planned Parenthood is racist. We'll address that. Just give me a second. I don't think you're trying to make a legal case based off of your religious beliefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was a politician, I couldn't do that. That's church and state.
You're attempting to make a moral case against abortion. Now, you
Right.
said you believe it is immoral to abort a fetus. Can you warrant that? How is it immoral?
I believe it's murder. You're taking away a future life that could have been born to have a life. I think that, they shouldn't be spoken for when it's not the baby's fault that you got pregnant. You shouldn't, if you don't want
Yeah, but why?
to die. Because it's not like that's not right. You're taking away the person's future in life.
That's not my question. I asked, why is it not right though?
I just said why it's not right. It's not right to take away someone's life when they can't even speak for themselves.
Yeah, but
They can't
why?
speak for themselves.
Why is it not right?
Because murder is morally wrong. Even for someone who's an atheist, it's morally wrong. It's morally
How?
wrong for about anybody, unless you're Jeffrey Dahmer.
How is murder morally wrong? Also, murder is contingent upon legality, unless you're trying to say that the law is inherently moral, which I would object to, and I don't think even you believe that.
I believe when it comes to abortion, it is murder.
What? No. I'm saying that's not what I posted. I said that something simply being murdered does not mean it is immoral. Something being murder is classification. It is classified as murder based off of its legal status.
Well, murder can be justified in some circumstances when it's self-defense, etc.
What? Okay.
But what is
That's not. Wait. What do you think the definition of murder is?
You're literally killing somebody. What are you talking about? That's what murder is.
It's
You're
an
killing somebody.
Premeditated killing. Well, premeditated unlawful killing. Self-defense. I don't know if it's not premeditated. So no, self-defense wouldn't fall under murder. But that word, unlawful. Therefore, if something premise 1, something has to be unlawful for it to be considered moral. For it to be considered murder.
Yes.
Premise 2,
By law.
the law is not inherently moral. You agree with this. Obviously, you're pushing for the criminalization of abortion.
Sorry, but someone was calling me what?
Premise 2, the law is not inherently moral.
That's a complex question.
It's a yes or no question. Do you think the law is inherently moral? Obviously, you don't believe so because the law right now says abortion should be legal.
No, not with abortion. No, I don't. I think
Okay,
it should change.
then premise 3, murder is not always morally wrong.
If it's in self-defense and someone's trying to rob or kill you and you're trying to protect yourself from another killer,
If
yes,
it's
that's the
in
only way.
self-defense, then it's not murder, genius.
You are murdering someone, wise one. That's a fucking common sense.
Can you define the word? Define murder for me. Define the word murder for me.
Murder is a
You
legal
literally
term,
it's
bro.
taking someone's life. You're literally killing somebody.
No. You're
Yes or
literally
no?
objectively
Stop
wrong.
conflating.
You're objectively
Stop
wrong.
conflating the word killing and murder, please. Also,
Okay, yes. Murder is killing without justification, and self-defense is killing with justification.
bro, what? That's not define murder.
Murder is the killing of another person without justification or excuse.
Okay, no. Let's look up the word murder together. Definition: the unlawful, premeditated killing of one human being by another. Now, you know what premeditated means, right? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know what premeditated means, right?
Yes, it's like pretty much plain or considered.
Yes. Now, in cases of self-defense, I don't know if you know this, but it can't be premeditated.
I understand. Yes, I agree with you. We're not disagreeing.
So you concede to my point.
No, not with abortion. Not with abortion.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about abortion right now. We're talking about what the word murder means.
Yeah, so we agree on the word murder.
Oh, okay, good. Now, okay. Back to the moral disagreement we had. So, you said it is immoral to kill another human being, correct? Did he leave? He left.
No, I'm right here.
Oh, wait. What?
I do have to
Oh, yeah, I see you.
I have to leave
someone
in
else
5
left.
minutes, so we have to make this quick.
Okay, why is killing another... You said abortion is immoral because killing another human is immoral, correct?
Yeah, well, it's killing a fetus, basically, but yes. Go ahead.
It doesn't matter. I have no argument. And I have no interest in arguing semantics. Why is that immoral?
Because the person can't be spoken for. It's not like there's a righteous reason behind it. Not at all. I mean, you can give it up to somebody else if you don't want it so bad. I mean, that's like saying I ate food, but I'm not giving consent to digest. And literally, if you have sex, there's consequences behind having sex, right?
What? Bro, what does this have to do with my...
To abort. Unless
I asked you how murder was... I asked you how killing was immoral, and you went consent to sex is consent to pregnancy. What?
What's the correlation, bro?
Because you're talking about aborting versus murder. If it's okay. The only time I think abortion is okay is if the mom is gonna die, right?
Yes, you outlined this for me. I'm asking you why killing another human is inherently immoral. In cases that are not self-defense, not any of that.
There's no justified reason. You're literally.
Why do I need a justification?
You're taking an innocent person's life away.
Okay, and why does that matter? Why is that immoral?
Because, bro, like, why are you asking all these common sense questions? You're just going around in circles.
No. You think it's common sense. It's because you can't bridge the is-ought.
How so?
Your morals can never be justified.
They can't.
David Hume 101.
Yeah, dude, this is literally one-on-one. Like, this is just.
Bro, he was talking to you, not me.
For 2 hours, literally.
Bro, this is 101. You're at 1 right now.
He was talking to you. David Hume was the guy who made the is-ought.
Like, you're not going to go anywhere with this.
No, my point is you can't justify your morals. If you can't justify your... Okay, all right, you know what? I might be wrong. Justify your morals. Instead of just saying, oh, well, it's common sense.
First off, it's not common. Okay, it is common sense, but you don't want me to go off of that. So look, literally do you think that's okay to take the life of somebody without them being able to speak for themselves?
Well,
yes?
I'm saying it's morally neutral. I'm not saying it's morally good.
Well, that's where we disagree. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, now warrant your disagreement.
Because I believe that it's wrong to shed someone else's blood without them speaking if they wanted to be aborted or not.
Why?
They can't speak themselves. Because I don't think it's right for someone to not be able to speak for themselves. So they're getting
all I'm hearing is I think this and this without actually.
Bro, you're being tautological.
You're just circular.
I think this. Why? Because I think this. You have to justify it without being tautological.
I literally said that it's literally morally wrong.
Yes, why?
By law, it's by law. It's okay. By law,
Huh?
it's okay.
I never even brought up the law. I'm asking you morally. Why is killing another human being wrong? It's a very simple question.
Religious beliefs, for one. My religious beliefs is number one, obviously. I've said.
So wait. So your entire case against abortion is contingent off of your religion?
I've never said that. I said that's one of the reasons. And Planned Parenthood.
Okay. So then give me actual justification.
Disgusting.
Huh?
I had 3 reasons specifically. Religion.
Go ahead.
What? Okay, I said religious beliefs. I think it's a sin. I think it's messed up. I also think that it's messed up to shed someone's blood and to poke them and kill them when they're potentially going to be born. It's not their fault that you got pregnant.
Potential. All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, but you already conceded that it did that your religious beliefs aren't sufficient for creating a
No,
case
I
against
said that
abortion.
if I was a politician, it'd be sufficient because certain state.
If it was a politician, not necessarily. Do I really need to take you step by step why you can't make a religious case against abortion on a legal standpoint?
I just told you politically you can't do that.
The fuck? What?
I'm saying it's not okay for me to do if I'm a politician, but if I'm a private citizen, literally, I have the right to believe that's my religious freedom.
What, bro? No one's saying you don't have the right to believe something. I'm saying from like a logical perspective, you cannot say, well, it's my religious beliefs, and then make your entire legal case, or even your legal case. If it is predicated upon your religious beliefs, it is irrelevant. I can walk you through this if you need me to, but I think you should be good.
I believe it's unconstitutional.
I literally don't give a shit about the Constitution.
Yeah, but you're saying my moral belief. I think it's unconstitutional. It's against the law, against murder.
It's against the law.
But the Constitution agrees with abortion, though.
No, it doesn't.
And I am saying that I believe it shouldn't be constitutional. That's my point.
Yes, I'm asking you for justification. You're just telling me the same thing over and over. I don't care about this.
I've told you multiple times, dude, literally.
No, because you keep repeating yourself. You'll be like, oh, well, I think this is immoral. I'll ask you why, and you go, well, I think this is immoral. What? Come on, give me justification.
Give him your
give me
eviction
reasoning.
argument. He doesn't
I
understand
literally
anything right now.
Murdering somebody.
Evictionism, yeah, we can do this.
Right?
I should have enough time for an
Correct.
evictionist argument. What's up?
Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you. Repeat that.
Fortunately.
Hello?
Yeah?
Yo, we can hear you.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
My cut off, sorry. But I was saying, do you agree with murder? Yes or no? That's literally a basic question.
I'm open to having my mind changed about it being wrong. I currently have no opinion on the topic of murder and whether or not it's morally good or bad. So it's up to you to prove to me why murder is morally wrong.
Because you're taking the life of innocent human without.
Yeah, why is that wrong? I know what murder is. Why is it wrong?
Because I personally care for.
Well, no. I'm asking about me, not. I know that's your belief. I'm asking you to warrant belief.
To use what?
To warrant that belief that you hold. I understand it is a belief that you have. I'm asking you to justify that belief. There's a very clear distinction to be made.
Because I think it's very well. No, basically, it's unrighteous. You shouldn't be able to physically. It goes against the law, basically. Which
you already conceded the law wasn't inherently moral.
Yes, but basically, it should be overturned. And I think that
what? No. I'm asking you to justify your morals. What does this have? This is a red herring.
You're literally murdering somebody.
I don't care. I asked you to prove to me why murder was inherently immoral, and you still have yet to justify that.
No, because you. Oh no, you literally agreed that murder is wrong. You literally.
When?
No, we didn't.
Literally told me that murder is wrong, but you said self-defense isn't, right? You literally said you already agreed with that. So you're
what? No. I was correcting you. I was correcting you on the statement of what murder was. I corrected you on the definition of murder.
And you agreed that murder.
I did not concede to any points about the morality of murder. Source?
You disagreed with murder.
Bro, what? I disagreed with your flawed conceptualization of what murder is.
Well, I think yours is flawed.
Okay, so warrant that. Actually, I didn't. Well, no, I read out the definition to you. What do you mean?
Yeah, murder is an unjustified killing of another person, planned.
No, it's not. Bro, we read the definition. We read the definition together. Do you not remember?
It's not justified. Unjustified and unlawful, yes.
Are you fucking good, bro? Unlawful does not necessarily mean unjustified, right? Like you think Abortion is not justified. However, the law says it is justified. So you must agree to the
Well,
statement.
I was on a call. Sorry,
Right.
I didn't hear anything you said. I was on a call. I had to answer it.
Okay.
But
All
I
right.
literally am driving somewhere, and I have like 3 more minutes. So if you want to
Okay,
say
I'm gonna make the evictionist case. I'm not doing antinatalism anymore. The fetus is a trespasser. Why is it not?
Is a fetus what?
The fetus is trespassing on the mother's property, her womb.
No, because she happily let it happen. She had
Happily let it happen.
It's like eating food. Yeah.
Oh, we're doing this argument. One second. Let me pull up my dog. 1 second.
Spectrify, you got him.
If you don't want kids, keep your legs closed.
You got him.
Hard.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, one second. One second. I have a whole section on this. 1 second.
Oh
Well,
no!
I don't have all day because, like I told you,
I swear to God,
I got you. It's only a couple.
You just trapped yourself into an extremely bad situation, my guy.
Not at all. I trapped myself into a win. That's all.
A ninth common pro-life objection to evictionism is that in cases where rape wasn't involved, the mother voluntarily had sex, knowing what the consequences are, and because of this, must accept responsibility for her actions and let the fetus use her womb for 9 months. That's your objection, correct?
Yeah, I think you're literally.
This objection fails as well, though, because people do not have an obligation to follow through on their personal responsibilities. They simply have to not violate the rights of others. As long as evictionism isn't a rights violation, which I outlined already isn't, then it doesn't matter what the person caused or what they're technically responsible for. To quote Dr. Walter Block, quote, causation is not directly a legal concern. The law is a normative science. Causation is at most an element in a positive science. It is a category mistake to connotate causation and rights violations. We are not now involved with positive causality, only with normative rights violations. All sorts of harm are caused by people, and these actions would not be prescribed because they are well within our rights. Certainly, in the case of rape, there is no such cause. The woman is a totally innocent victim. She did not cause the baby to come into being. The reason that fetus came into being was caused by the rapist. But the key is not causation. Our perspective does not deal with this, but rather with rights violation. The key is not who it is rather who violated the rights of the individual. Rights are not violated by evicting a trespasser. Give me a second. I'm not done, bro. I'm not done.
Should I care?
For example, person
I
A.
am witnessing a murder.
For example, person A could have caused or even be personally responsible for the sadness of person B. But as long as the sadness is not a rights violation, person A would not be obligated to help end person B's sadness. So, like, let's say someone steals someone else's girlfriend, and that the sadness causes them to attempt suicide. Does that mean that that person should be arrested for that, for taking the other person's girlfriend? No, of course not. Such a notion would be would be just absurd, right? Merely taking an action does not logically imply responsibility for the result. I'm not done. For the result of the action.
I could get the law for that, but that literally just made no sense, bro. You just argued yourself by saying that.
I argue, bro. Your mic is really low.
Hey, before y'all go again, can I say something really quick?
How are you gonna compare?
I have to. Hey, before you speak, bro, I have to go. So I'm just gonna let you know if you do want to start this conversation later tonight or later, I can. But right now, I literally have to go.
Okay.
Are you pro-life? I'll debate you.
If you want to continue this,
Okay, bro.
I have to. Yeah.
All right.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yep.
William, do you admit that you've lost the Trump debate at least?
No, I don't lose anything.
Oh.
I won by
So
I
sad.
won this debate by a land. I
That's
destroyed
the
both of you.
By a
Bro,
landslide.
I wasn't even in the debate. But if you argued with him the way you argued with me, you took an L. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, you took the biggest L.
Dude, this guy said
not
that.
true at all. I won by a
NPR was fake
landslide. I
news,
won
but
by a
Breitbart was
landslide.
100%
In the
a lie.
politics debate, I won by a landslide. I destroyed you. There's no competition at all for me.
Oh,
No,
didn't.
Oh, he left.
Bro.
And it was easy when I won by. If you
Just hold your L. Just hold your L, Neocon.
Big time. One big
Bro.
time. You know it.
Hold your L, Neocon.
Picture is your face.
I got you.
Bro,
William.
We're going to rewatch this.
Stop talking like him. It's so weird.
bro,
Quite frankly,
same one who literally just
bro.
compared killing someone's
He
girlfriend.
Dude,
to the
why
law.
does he talk like Donald Trump? It's so weird.
Bro, I went on a rant about personal responsibility because I have a whole section in this doc dedicated to it.
You gotta send me
Okay,
that doc, bro.
bro.
I got you. I didn't write it,
What's
but
your
you know,
name again?
it's great.
It's fine. I need it.
Hey Mel, you
Yeah,
want
it's evictionism though.
Mel,
I
do
can't
you
hear
want